Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Sketchy Huntsmen streams, where we talk about all the wonderful art done by the Sketchy Huntsmen, the artist for the Fixing RWBY series. Joining me today is a smaller smattering than last time, because we got most of the names done last time. We're hoping to kind of catch up on some of the ones that didn't get their time to shine. Obviously today, right now, we have the Butterfly Blue Lady, Coffee, Floof, Luby, Moopa, Perry Doritos, Soon Plank, and Trocazor. Trocazor? Okay, I'm trying to remember how to pronounce that. Yes, Bazinga. Bazinga is also here. He's in here in spirit. He's a ghost. He doesn't exist. Yes. So, last time we left off, we were intending to get to Coffee's pieces at the very end, where we have the nice big old reveal of a returning familiar face, but we just didn't have time for it. So now we have time for it. So Coffee, do you want to just jump right into this, like jumping into a cold pool of water?
Yeah, I'm just jumping right in. I didn't have anything to really write about this. I'm just free flow it, dude. So this is after credit scene. It was the first thing I got to work on. Like I said in the last stream, if you caught it, I did like 2 major little groups of my art. And they were like a month-ish apart or something. So this is the first stuff I actually ended up doing, and it's like the most spoilery thing in the entire volume.
Yeah, you were actually brought on specifically onto the project to draw that because I don't think I want to spoil it for anyone else, and also your drawing skills are pretty damn good.
I was a pitch hitter, as I like to say. I just came in and did my job and got out.
The original artist for this was actually going to be Butterfly Blue Lady, and the reason she didn't end up doing it is because she did a lot of the finalized character design work. She did all the PNGs. We'll be getting to those pretty shortly. And after she did that, she was like, nope, I can't. And I perfectly understand. That's a lot of drawing. Yeah. So like you contributed so much. You made my life so much easier by giving me perfect PNG cutouts to work with. So
yeah, those were gorgeous. I think at the time you were also like busy with commissions. I think I remember you mentioning
yeah, I think that was it too.
I still am.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was there like 2
kind of more
years ago.
professional out here.
God, commission hell can truly be hell.
Yeah.
The
Well, I say the as if I know. I've never done commissions.
It gets to you, dude.
Also, I want to highlight the whiskey bottle here, the wonderful whiskey bottle. I remember you were very proud of your whiskey bottle.
I got some reference just to look at. It wasn't even in the same pose, but just to get the vibe of a whiskey bottle. Because I drew out the scene. I always thumbnail my stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I draw like a rectangle or a square. It doesn't have to be the exact like shape that it's going to be ending up with. I just want like the general framing, and then I blow it up, and then I do like my refined sketch or line art. For this one, I just went straight into line art because I did a pretty like good fleshed out thumbnail sketch to get the composition. My perspective here is a little wonky, and I feel like the colors are very warm. If I went back and redid it, I feel like I would add a little more tone and variation or texture to make the characters pop. But I'm still really happy with the ending Roman that I end up on.
Yeah. Well, right now we were on the crow, and now we're switching to the second one is the him pointing the sword.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I should go through these. Yeah. Instead of talking about general one at a time. Ahead of myself. My bad. This one was really nice. I remember originally I had 2 versions for Roman, where I was like, I definitely wanted him silhouetted by the lantern light, but I had one where it was just like his just general outline, and then I was like, last minute brain thought, I was like, what if his hands are up? Because I think there's a very similar scene in like RWBY where he's like it's like it might have been like the scene where he's after he gets captured after volume 2 and he's like in that jail cell talking with Ironwood and stuff. It had like a very like orangey lighting, or like it just seemed like a very quirky thing to do, is like do a big old smirk and put his hands up like, oh, you got me.
Yeah,
I gave it to Raymond, and he was like, yeah, that one, I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed
for his personality,
because even as like a non-artist, just looking at it, just telling it, that's no lines, it's all just like painted light. I don't know how to I just using just the color to implicate that there are hands there. Like
it's backlighting.
Yeah,
or like rim lighting. It's just like that extra lighting that's like just nice.
So I thought that was very, very good at setting the tone.
No, yeah, because I drew a Roman under there. There's like line art for Roman under there. No one will ever know that, but it's like also line.
Well, now they do.
Well, yeah. I guess that's the reason for these streams. Thank you. And then I just like I didn't do much in the coloring aspect. I think I did color his pants and maybe a bit of his vest, but then it's like, oh, that all gets obscured. But since I did that line art, it was pretty easy to like get in the light to be like, okay, I know where it needs to be. I actually went overboard with it actually originally, but then I pulled it back, and it was kind of hard to get the outlines of the hands to look like their hands. But again, it's like, yes, I think I got it. Also, just the artistic thing of like, there's no light on his mouth or like anything. I just needed that color to accent that he's like smiling like a little shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love that you can still see his teeth, that you can still tell that he's smiling. I really like that.
That was just like instead of realism, it's just like, let me just like stylize it. Let me just
I mean, if you really think about this scene, the lighting in this room makes absolutely no sense.
I wasn't gonna mention it,
but like it's fine. It's fine. Like it's all about
integrity.
I like being dramatic. I like you.
Why would you waste effort lighting the whole store?
Dramatic light.
Just a fucking spotlight right above the bar.
One of the lights.
No, but I point that out because like there's a distinction between like intense shadows being used for dramatic reveal as opposed to like it doesn't come into play in anything. Like it doesn't come into play plot wise. It's not like it's not going to be a surprise for Crow to see this guy. We're just kind of amping that feeling for Crow and for the audience. But like, if it were like a fight scene where like, Ilya's hiding in the back corner of this black, that's when you might have issues with the lighting. That's when you might be like, hey, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, and that's actually very nice that you brought that up, because I remember when I was thumbnailing it, there was actually 2 other thumbnails that I made where it was like a close-up of Raymond. You still couldn't see what he was with the knife up close, and it's like a slice shot. I tried to think of it very much like if I was watching the show, how it would be like storyboarded. That's kind of how I approach these things. And I had a few more images here, but then I was like, okay, that's a lot of work. I'm not gonna, let's tone it down. Instead of having it be 5 or 6 images that make it like really smooth and nice, I can just have it be like, here are like the really good images, and Raymond will speak over them about what's happening.
Literally, remind everyone, I literally ask for 1 shot from each person. This is all Coffee being like, I want to do 6. No, I'll go 3. That might be pushing it, but Raymond can cover. I was like, I just wanted 1.
And yet I still take the time to like put the rim light on the whiskey bottle. It's like, it's gotta be good. It's gotta look nice for this 1 shot.
Well, I appreciate the extra effort. I definitely love it. I'm not complaining about more work. I'm just saying, I'm not a task manager.
Being silly. It's just like me being like, I need to tone down. I need to make this simpler and easier. Anyway, so rim lighting for the staff in the final.
Speaking of the final,
actually, that's yeah, I wanted to get to the pattern on the because it took me a while to get because I was like, okay, this is gonna be a bigger shot. It's only Roman. He looks pretty nice, but there's gonna be more on the staff. I need to like actually get that down. So then I had to like scour the earth for like what the fuck the design is on the staff. It's just a whole bunch of swirls.
Yeah, I had never thought about that.
It's a thin vine design, because I had that same problem when I was like working on his redesign, and I needed like a base of like his fucking staff or reference, because I knew I wanted his design to match his staff kinda. But the fucking vine thing, it's the same kind of shit that they slapped on Adam's clothes too, kinda. Just swirly.
Yeah, it's just like bullshit. General like, here's some accenting designs. It's that vine aesthetic, like you said.
But
it's like something you would see engraved on like a door, or like etched into like a door frame or something.
Yeah. But unlike Adam, Ozpin having vines on his shit doesn't really make that much sense, or at least not as far as I can currently see.
Yeah, it just looks fancy. It's also just put
Yeah.
on there weird. Like if you look on
Yeah.
that, it's like that's just it's like a design that it doesn't even like seamlessly go into itself. It's just like real weird.
No, I feel like I
Um,
mean like if they wanted to put effort into designing some kind of intricate pattern onto his someone thinks that you're me in the comments. But I feel like they should have gone for like some kind of more clock mechanical outlining stuff on the staff if they wanted
Yeah,
to
and
do that.
in retrospect, I feel like it calls a little bit more attention to his magical roots as Ozma, but that's like kind of a weaker thread to call on. It's like, well, it looks wispy, magical, naturey, like magic. I don't know.
To correct the Intertrek, no, coffee is coffee. Erica DC is Mupa.
Hello.
For one of your images, I think for someone's images I mixed up the tagging. I think it might have been
Yeah,
Coffee
you
and
did.
Erica.
That was mine. You showed my image, but then you credited someone else on the video.
Right. That was that
Ooh.
Netlady?
Shame on you.
Well, that was in the first pass of it, or not the first. Was that? I'm trying to remember.
I mean, it was on.
I think it was fixed because I was looking for Mupa's like media, and I think it was like fixed in like the compilation.
In the compilation one, it was definitely fixed.
Yeah,
That
it got
was one of
fixed in the compilation, but on the individual videos, I think it's still there unless you like re-uploaded
I
it.
put a
again,
note.
but
I put a
don't
note
think you did.
in the description, making sure.
Yeah, you did.
But I that happens when you're editing something this large. You're just like you're trying to like keep track of all these different names. I mean, like, the way that it works in the editor is that it makes a single instance for every single name that you make. So like I was just pulling ones off from the old bins. I was just pulling them out and putting them on, and then like I would use placeholders to make new ones where I would occasionally just do that. And yours was one that I needed to do because I don't think you had anything before that in the timeline. So like
that was the one illustration I did.
So what I ended up doing, I pulled an old one out, I copied it basically, and then I pulled that copy in, and I was going to edit that, and then I got distracted by something else, went off to do that, came back, and forgot to just to put your name in. And I'm like, and then afterwards I felt like, oh God, I'm so sorry.
That's how it happened. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm Coffee. That's Mupa. So I drew the design on the handle by hand. It looks really nice for a second. I looked at it and I'm like, did I just copy and paste that from the staff? No, I mixed like two designs from like an earlier. It's like the model for his staff for like 1 through 3, and then like the later model, and then also a cosplay. Like I matched them. Because it's like it was like the framing of it is slightly different in each one, even though the general pattern is the same. And I'm like, let's just get this feel and like ness correct. But looking back, I'm like, oh wow, I did actually get the curves really good. So I think maybe I put my like pen on like to have a lot of latency. Or I don't know. I like curves. I feel like I do them like they're just good exercise things. So it was just like a nice thing to get done.
Yeah, it looks great.
Looks it's just stellar. It really did come out great.
Yeah, it pushed the image over the edge for me, where it's like, okay, now it's like actually close to done. Because before it was just like this gorgeous Raymond that our lovely design team made. I don't remember everyone that worked on Roman's design, but
Butterfly, me, and Celtic. Well, Celtic as kind of the supervisor.
Yeah, I was just the one that giving input, being like, all right, here's kind of the vague idea. Like the big thing for me. Because I guess we can kind of move into the design prospect. Are we okay to go into designing the characters? Or are we going to... Do we want to... Anything we want to finish up here, Coffee, necessarily?
I will note a funny thing about this is that I originally drew this Raymond. He was just against a brown wall. He was just a two-tone brown wall. And then I forgot the door was behind it. And I was like, ooh, I need the door back there.
Oh, it's so like that... It's like that famous painting of the diner where there's no visible doors.
Yeah, you forgot the door.
Like, hey, what's the symbolic meaning of there being no door? And the artist was just like, oh, mother.
Dang it, I did it.
I did it again. Oh, damn it.
No,
Can
yeah,
I eat my
it was
hat?
absolutely that.
How
Because I
many
had
doors? You
already
just walk through walls.
exported it. I had already exported this entire image, and I already flattened it, and I was like, it's done. And I'm like, it's not done though. So I had to like,
That's the worst
I had to
feeling.
open it back up and be like, okay, how the fuck do I put a door back here? And that's why the door has like a different line style to it and like is colored differently. Is because I had to like do that after everything else was done. Thankfully, I
really-
still
I
had
thought
the
it was,
file.
like, I thought it was like a cool perspective thing you were doing, like, oh, the door's a little bit blurrier than Roman because the door is farther away and the focus is on Roman.
Oh,
Like,
that is
no,
also true. But if you notice, like the line quality is not like very solid black. It's like I used a
Mhm.
softer brush on that.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
It still looks really
So
good.
it was intentional. It was just done after the fact. So it's also different in that stylistic sense. Because if you compare
Same
it to
thing.
like the table or the desk or the bar, like in the other images, it's like, oh, that's different because it was drawn at a different time.
Right.
It worked out really good though because it gave a lot of contrast to it. It's like, oh, there's some lighter browns in there. It doesn't look all samey. It just
Yeah.
really helps Roman pop out.
One of
Which I
the-
was already trying to do because I ramped up the color saturation on its hair and vest a whole lot.
As a redhead, I very much appreciate it. I gotta make that hair pop. Now, one thing
Yeah.
I both to the credit of our character designers and to you, Coffee, there's just how natural it looks. Him holding Ozpin's staff, like that's something that I was actually genuinely kind of a little concerned about. Was just how natural is it going to look?
Yeah. You
And-
didn't really want to
forgot.
go with green at first, but like me and Butterfly, I think we both like when I suggested a green palette for him, we kind of like vibed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does have
And-
green eyes, so
He does have green eyes. It brings
It
out his
works.
beautiful green eyes.
No, like
But
I
you
made
didn't wanna-
sure to get them in the same like hue range too. I was like, I want
Ah,
them.
perfect.
Like, I think his eyes, the shadows on his eyes, I shadow like green's just cooler, like a cooler tone, for that sweet contrast. But yeah, I was like, I noticed it was the green is when we look at the character designs, it's less saturated. But I was like, I'm just gonna take what artists call liberties, artistic liberties, as we all know.
$5 from Blade Charge just to say Roman looks fabulous. By the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
very much,
Blade
man.
Charge.
He is quite
glad it came
sexy.
out so well.
Yes.
Also, quick before designs, Raymond gave me war flashbacks to when I had to literally draw the staff. Oh my god. I forgot. I had to like take so many like reference photos of my hands. And I had to like
right.
adjust the staff. And
Oh,
be like, how big is this staff? Because part of the issue is knowing how big the staff is. Because the staff is like 5 feet long.
It is. It's hard. I don't even know how big it is, like itself, because like when I was making the reference sheet, I just figured, well, you know what? I just want it to be tall enough where he can lean on top of it like he does with his cane and look all smug. So that's the height, and whatever that is,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what? It's an extendable staff, anyways. It can do what we
Oh, yeah.
want.
It's great.
The
Yeah,
green-
and at the end, I went with more of like a feel. It's like, this feels about like what a staff should be instead of almost as tall as Oscar himself, you know?
Someone pointed out, was it the green, the orange hair? He might be named Roman, but this is Celt, and he might be named Roman, but this is a Celt. I thought you were talking about me, but like, I read that wrong. That's actually that's a pretty funny joke. Actually.
I mean,
Historical
technically, the
jokes.
Roman Empire did conquer Celtic territories and
Yeah, I think that was the
incorporate that
joke.
into their empire.
He might be named
So-
Roman, but this is a actually that really
Under
weirdly
Caesar, he
works
could
for some of
consider the Roman.
the framing of him. Huh?
Hmm.
Hadn't considered that. The but yeah, if it was a reference to me and that was like just a weird spelling for it, yeah, this is me in my idealized form. This is what I would
Is there
love to
a real
look like.
OP? Do not steal?
And being a mafia boss.
I mean, it feels that way. I have the Sketchy Huntsmen. We're very sketchy.
Anyway, I think I think that's about good, yeah.
Okay, so let's move
It's all-
on.
it's all
We
nice.
can actually talk about the designs themselves then. If I go into the character design,
Hooray!
and we'll go
Which is
pull up
good.
Roman's first. Let's see.
You'll see some stuff I wasn't able to draw because I kind of covered it up with his hair.
Let's see.
Will you be putting up the reference sheets on screen like you did with the
Yep,
art?
I am.
All right.
So I guess just to transition smoothly, first up is Roman himself and all the wonderful art that. Now remember, this is what happened. Mupa is the one that did all of the reference material for the characters themselves. Meanwhile, you have Butterfly, who did all the PNGs, and I'll be kind of cycling back and forth between them. But overall, they were both integral to the design process. I cannot tell you how many times there was back and forths. There was some heated arguing in those calls.
There was. I'd never worked on a collaborative team before, so there was a lot of growing pains for me and learning how to be actually a proper team player. But I've really come to appreciate Butterfly and her insight, especially in terms of like, I can be kind of wild and crazy with some of my ideas, and like I like a lot of really weird shit, but sometimes that can really alienate people because it ends up being too niche. While Butterfly is really good at reading people and what's like actually more cool and interesting and popular for a wider audience. So she was really good at kind of grounding me, I guess I want to say, and like bringing me back to Earth so that I'm not just like on a different planet compared to what people would actually like about the designs.
Yeah.
Is what I want to say.
Perry says, "Look at this goofy orange-haired boy." Yes, please look at him. He is lovely.
I just really appreciate Butterfly and all the help she gave, and holding me back from being a maniac.
Your designs aren't bad or anything. They are another world.
Yeah.
They're like Alice in Wonderland on crack.
Oh God,
that's exactly what I mean. I can get really alien with some of the stuff, but that's part of the fun of concept art. Is just if I like suggest enough weird shit, then something normal eventually lands. Is what I eventually came to understand about how I work best.
I will say one thing.
Or somehow your weird shit goes through the cracks and then you win.
One thing I really like about your character reference sheets, you do such a good job of putting in so many facial expressions for the character. I love this little one of Roman just like putting his hands up to his head and dragging them down his face. Like, I love that expression because I've had that so many times. I can feel that. I'm just like,
I was just channeling the mood in his head of being like, oh my God, I've got this old fart stuck in my head telling me what to do, and I have to deal with all these teenagers who wanted to beat the shit out of me last month.
When did I become a grandpa?
But I mean, like, technically though, I think I take a little too much liberty with that sometimes, considering they're supposed to be like reference sheets and focus on showing off the outfits. But I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of hardwiring a way to show off a little bit of character personality as well, just because I think it's fun.
I think actually I can't speak for the other artists, but like at least I find it conveys the character a lot stronger, and it kind of gives the sense of how to draw them if they have certain circumstances come up. So it's like you kind of convey that personality, and you kind of set the tone for the character going forward.
Yeah, and I guess
I
it gives
love
like
all the emotions in it. It's so cool.
Yeah, I guess it kind of like gives some pointers maybe to others about like, okay, if you're drawing this character, maybe consider giving them these kinds of poses or expressions.
No, yeah, actually, it's very similar to when I first saw this. I was like, I'm not sure this. It was kind of hard to read the hands.
Yeah,
so in that sense, it was like a little bit of a wonky reference sheet, but it's actually a very good like character design sheet. Like if you see an animation, like the art director when they're making the character designs, it's like here's their range. This is like how they would be if they were upset. It's like giving that range of emotion on like how that would look on that character. And I think in that way, it's like really good. It's just like I think the one shortcoming was literally like the hands, because hands are hard to draw, and you had to like make it distinct. It's like which one's which hand.
Yeah, I actually ended up writing down more notes, and when I eventually posted the version that everyone else here on the server sees, it has like notes writing down, okay, this is his right arm, and this is the palm side, this is the top side. I wrote down more notes in my version, but what Celtic has on screen right now is kind of the older version.
Yeah, for some reason I forgot to download the new version.
I did take your...
That's the one I got for,
Yeah, I did take your criticism to heart, though. You were actually the first person to give me feedback in that regard.
Yeah, everyone... Sometimes you don't notice, because in your head, you're like, yeah, Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember drawing that
yeah.
hand, and all the way through drawing that hand, I knew it was the left hand, but then someone else looks at it, and it's like, yeah, these are just two floating arms. Which one's which
Yeah.
again?
Yeah. So that was also the first clue that I eventually had when I realized, and I saw the videos being put up, that I realized, oh, there's like all these little things that people are getting wrong. My reference sheets were kind of vague, weren't they? Oops.
Okay,
I'll-
good for like character, like if we were in animation and stuff. So, in part of it is because like, we're conveying the story that would have been done like animated, but
Yeah, so that's just something that I really improved upon with Adam's reference sheet, because that one has a ton of notes all over it. But that's yeah, a lot of the reference sheets end up being kind of bare on notes, because in my own head I just thought, okay, well, this is what the characters look like. People will be able to see it and just copy what they see, like I do, because everyone obviously draws exactly like me, and this will be fine.
Well, speaking of Bully Boy, let's roll right on over to him, because he was also the other surprise redesign.
Oh, there he is.
Yep. I just wanted to make a smoother transition. You brought him up, and I'm like, okay, there's my point. Do it.
So boob window.
Peck window.
Oh, peck window.
Boob is boob. What do you want from me?
It looks like the line sits just right over where his nipples would be.
It does. That's exactly it. I drew a little dash and everything, and I wrote down in the notes that the neckline, the angle needs to go right on top of his nipples.
I don't know how I didn't notice it now, but the nipple has a smiley face.
It does. I put in a little smiley face. Because I mean, I was going to draw a normal nipple, but then I thought, what if that makes people uncomfortable? I'll make it a smiley face. That's
I think I'm more uncomfortable with the smiley face.
It is more uncomfortable, but that like authorial intent, I feel like. I'm like, yes, I understand.
So, do you want to talk about? I'm trying to remember. Which were the ones that were the big redesign issues? I think Roman we figured out relatively quick. The design.
No, yeah, Roman came after Adams, and like Roman was like came after I adjusted my whole process. But Weiss and Adam were they were the big ones, because me and Butterfly had a really hard time like agreeing on how to handle them.
We saw him in different views or
We
lights.
really did. It like at first I was like all hopped up on like fucking Rufus from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I thought, okay, Adam's like the fucking leader of the White Fang now in this redesign. I gotta make him look super cool, and Rufus has this crazy weird cool coat. I'm gonna take inspiration from that and make Adam look all regal. And you were like, no, that's not how Adam is.
I'm sorry.
No, you ended up being right. That's really not Adam's style to be all like faux princely and regal. That's really just not him. I was just kind of like blindsided by the whole Rufus thing. In fairness, Adam is like kind of wild no matter what kind of position he's in life. Like he can look really cool and dashing, but he's still kind of got like this underlying sort of dark personality of being, you know, his edgy self.
We do have
He's
a direct.
So I think you were I think you were right to put your foot down on that, even though it was kind of tough at the time to go through so many like coat design concepts and none of them to be landing, and then like people got frustrated and blah blah blah. But it ended up being good because it made me change my whole process, where instead of just presenting one concept at a time, I ended up drawing a whole bunch of concepts to show all at once. And I just like let you guys pick and choose which parts you thought looked best so that we could like merge them together. And that worked out really, really well.
Someone asked, what's the idea behind the upside down rose? Also, I assume you're not a fan of adding more details like lapels. And I think that I can answer that last one. We all agree high collars are more badass and sexier. I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah,
yes?
yeah.
Okay. But the upside down rose,
high
what was your logic behind flipping his symbol exactly?
Okay, so my logic with the flipping his rose upside down was, I figure, cause how do I explain this? It's
He's
like
falling down.
it's like he was wilting, right? I wanted to like convey the idea that the rose is now, it's dead, it's wilting, it's drying out, it's a dry rose at this point. It's not alive anymore. It has nothing more to give. So I guess that was kind of my thought process towards it. It's like it's in the position you would put a flower if you wanted to dry it. But it still kind of is preserved, but it's super duper dead.
Sounds like my love life.
It is no longer grounded, in a
Oh
sense,
my.
like Adam.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of like some of my logic behind turning the rose upside down.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of, I think I was pretty hands off with this one. I don't remember having much input. I just remember I was against giving him. Was it against all black or all white? I think we actually had like all white and all black.
You were against all black because like yeah, we wanted to. Well, me and you wanted to change his palette, but Butterfly was more comfortable with just letting him keep black because you know that was his standard color palette. So I appreciate that. But yeah, we went through those sort of palettes, and I threw out a red palette just as like kind of a point of variation because I thought it would be kind of boring if we were just comparing white and black, and I wasn't sure which one would really be voted for, and like I'll just try red just because I have this red color. We'll see how it works, and it actually kind of like was sort of interesting, and we worked on it a little more, and Butterfly gave me this really great shade of red to work off of that allowed this palette to be born, where it's all really cool and muted and really easy on the eyes.
Oh yeah, one
Because
thing.
before it was way too bright.
One thing I'm really excited to get to. I want to try and find a scene. I'm thinking maybe in Volume 6, the clash between Blake, Yang, and Adam. I'm hoping to keep that. I'm hoping to establish that better. And I'm hoping for like kind of an artistic moment of a clash between Yang, kind of in a mirror image of how Yang lost her arm, like a mirror scene.
Mm.
And like I could definitely see that coat being in that like colorized style where instead of the screen going, I think it went red, black. It was everything went red and the silhouettes were black. Was that how it was in that scene?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was how the scene went. Everything was red, silhouette black.
So inverse that, where everything is black and the silhouettes are red. Something like that. I could
That'd
see
be cool.
that working really well.
I just love the design so much. It's so inspired.
Yeah,
I feel like in the show, he gets like this dinky half uniform that's gray and has zippers where it shouldn't have
I mean,
zippers.
technically, we still
boring.
keep that, but that's because it's
it's
like
so boring and
That thing
ugly.
is so ugly.
It's so boring and ugly. You're right.
It's a
And
sin to
here-
humanity.
It's
Well, maybe
so
that's why he wears
weird.
it.
like, his Adam
He wears it to make everyone else suffer to have to look at it.
Yeah.
in this design, I feel like he really like comes to his own like he really comes into his own into this design, and I'm like, dude, I feel this like big dick energy
Yeah,
he had actually instead of like the kicked puppy energy he had at the end of like Volume 4 or whatever.
Yeah,
Or
it actually. I think it was like I think the main point of inspiration ended up being something that I don't remember who said it, either Butterfly or Celtic.
I
don't
think
know.
it was from a character named Virgil that I had used.
Maybe you mentioned something, but I don't remember. But what
I can't
ended
remember
up
either.
what ended up triggering it for me was someone said something about Adam essentially being like a school shooter. So I ended up just looking at
a
goth-
school Minecrafter, a school Minecraft enthusiast. We need to be
Okay,
very
right.
careful with our language, please.
He
Oh,
shot
I
the
know-
school
oh,
with
yeah.
the water gun. There's nothing
found-
serious about it.
with some cool goth trench coats to look at, and those ended up all being like the point of inspiration for all the Adam concepts I suggested and what we eventually cobbled together for his final. So that was where that came from.
He is the ultimate combination of edgelords.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He posts his Minecraft let's plays on RedTube.
He does Minecraft speedruns.
Oh lord. So, who should we move on to next? We have 6 other characters to get to, I believe.
You could do it so far we've been kind of going like backwards in terms of reveal, so you could continue that trend.
Yeah, but who was the last reveal, really? I guess Yang, technically, then?
Was
let
she?
me see.
I think it was
Let me-
Blake.
Well,
It's
no, because
somewhere in
Yang's
fucking
design was addressed
resources,
at the very beginning,
there.
but she only gets it at the very end.
Oh yeah.
It
This is
was after Roman and Adam, it was a beautiful butterfly blue art right there. Yeah, it was Yang. Yang
Yep.
was that.
I remember drawing that outfit.
Yeah.
All right.
There it is.
Let's go through it a little bit. So Yang. Oh, I remember we talked about the current designs for Yang at length and about how terrible they all are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Potato sack.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, at first you were kind of like, I think you weren't really too concerned about what her canonical design was until I pointed out that when you remove the weird semi-trench coat thingies from her legs, she's kind of top-heavy.
Oh,
So,
yeah, when you start breaking down her and Blake's design in the newer seasons,
yeah.
it is unbelievably, like, no one in their right mind would wear it. Like, even anyone with a tactical mind would definitely not wear this, let alone a sane one. So, like, reworking her design is great. Again, I know you have another lovely face. I love her carefree attitude in this middle.
Oh yeah, the Slav squat was very important to me, and also very difficult to draw. I just imagine
Nondescript bottle with the purple label.
Yeah.
Shame we can't see her.
Oh my
butt.
God, she's addicted to grape soda, just like Phoenix Wright.
Ah, of course.
Y'all could make a tie-in and be like, that's sunflower soda from the DC Comics or whatever.
But yes, I remember very distinctly that we wanted to go. Who was that brought up the colonial references?
That was me, but that was like a really long. Like the idea of redesigning characters was still kind of new. Where like one of the pitches I did way back then was like the idea of giving Ruby and Yang kind of colonial-esque fashions because Vale was like pseudo-America.
Yeah, and I think
And that was like
it's also
the
like pseudo
closest
Europe
to-
as well. So like Ruby, I think the way I think spanned out is that Yang got more of the American influence, Ruby got more European influence. A little
Yeah,
bit.
although ironically for this redesign of her, I looked at British bikers instead of American bikers.
You look at things? Oh God.
You have eyes?
I just wing it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the reasons why sometimes my designs can be kind of. I'll look at a whole bunch of stuff and then try to cobble it all together like some Frankenstein motherfucker.
But yeah, the thing that always caught my eye about this was the addition of like that flap of cloth with the pockets on it. I think that's a very interesting way to integrate that.
Butt
Hmm.
cape.
It
Yeah,
adds the booty.
It's the
think
butt
that was-
cape. Classic
I think
butt
that was Butterfly's idea. I don't think I thought of that myself back at the time when I was working on her, but I think Butterfly suggested it because that was something that she had in her OG design that she wanted to carry over.
Yeah, I think Yang was another one that I think we came upon rather quick. We took like less than
Yeah,
a day.
most
to
of them were
figure
pretty
out.
quick because up until Adam, a lot of the characters I just like worked kind of privately on them and then showed off of the concept that I had, and like you guys kind of gave your feedback on whether or not you liked it, and then I would change little things here and there, but a lot of them were pretty straightforward because I think for most of them we pretty much all had the same mindset on how they should look.
Yep. I think she came out beautifully. Like it's a much
Yeah.
simpler design. She's not anywhere near as I think complex as her. She looks a little more complex. It gives the illusion of complexity with all the elements going on with her, but when you break it down, it's a very simple outfit.
Yeah, the biker chains. Butterfly helped with the biker chain stuff because I haven't ever actually really worn chains, but she apparently did at some point in her life. So she was able to advise me a bit on that, on proper chain placement.
I just realized I left that off my art.
Oops.
I
For
went back
shame.
to look and I left the chains off.
Well,
I
luckily
didn't-
they're
There's like
tactical
3
anyways.
different chains.
Yeah.
There's one behind her boot. Like I knew the one on the shoulder and her belt, but there's one on the on her.
Yeah, there's one on the boot too.
Oh my god.
She was working on Bumblebee. It's fine. She didn't want to get.
No,
that
no,
wrong.
it's good. I just like, how did I miss it? It happens 3 times in the outfit.
You can just say your eyes are bad.
I don't have eyes. Official disclaimer: I don't have eyes.
You just like draw with the
I
force.
draw on Braille. I draw on a typewriter like that one dude. It's great.
You give voice commands to your tablet and the computer draws for you.
Alexa, draw Ruby.
Alexa,
Draw
move
a straight
stylus
line,
2 pixels
50
left.
degrees.
God.
The,
Move over 3 centimeters. Black ink.
fill tool. No, other fill. Fuck. No. Oh shit. So
I see. Sorry, I just got distracted by a question from Intratech about top heaviness. You don't really want a character design to be too like top heavy or bottom heavy or anything like that because it makes it imbalanced, and that's just like creates like weird visual problems.
there's probably exceptions to that. Like, was it Mercury being bottom heavy in some ways? I think would actually work out because of his leg. Because he has such a focus
yeah, but
on
that's
his legs.
because his technique revolves around his legs. That's a little
Yeah,
different.
I mean, it sort of varies on how you handle it, but generally you want to have it so that when you look at something, your eyes can flow across the whole thing and not just get trapped in one section. Because you want people to appreciate the entirety of the thing, not just one part, you know?
I want to clarify when they mean like top heavy or bottom heavy. I think they're talking about like the design elements. If you have like a lot of like zippers or tags or clothing or anything, it's not like physical weight of clothes like Yang, who had like this neck brace looking thing. It's more about like the elements of the clothing and design going on.
Yeah, I'm also not talking about like her physique or anything like that. Like obviously she's very chesty, but like that's not really the point of anything. Plus the way I draw her, I give her big hips too, so it's whatever.
Yeah, it's just gotta limit some stuff. That way it reads a bit better. It's easier on the eyes. It's nicer. It's cleaner.
Yeah.
Big boobs, big hips. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hourglass, baby.
Actually, this is technically the first person I think we can pull up her PNG.
Yes, because everyone got PNG models except for Adam and Roman, and that was because those two were
at the end.
They were like surprise reveals, and they weren't gonna get puppeted around at any point. So those were the only 2 PNG models that didn't get made, but everyone else Butterfly made and worked really hard on.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to copy and paste. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to get this in here. What? No, what am I clicking? Where did I paste it? Okay, you have to delete that. Yes, move that. And then,
technical difficulties.
Well, it is something I completely forgot. Like, I have to swap around these things. So add a new source. Do window capture. Add new source because I have to have a new source. Make it pretty pictures. 2. Add source. Streamlabs, and then Microsoft Photos. Is that one? That one. There we go. Okay. So that's there
This
now.
is a reminder to drink water.
Yes, please drink water.
I'm drinking water right now.
Whether
Drink
you're on
water,
stream
ladies and
or you're at home, please stay hydrated.
Okay, so there we go. It's cutting her off a little bit, but it's fine. So this is Yang in her PNG pose. The lovely finalized art by Blue Butterfly, who I think did a wonderful
You can
job.
just call me Butter.
Butter? Butter? You are now Butter.
Just call him Blood.
I will now call you Margarine. So, any interesting notes you want to give us, Butter?
I don't know. It was fairly simple except for that fire bit. Ooh.
I believe it. It looks great though. The fire looks really awesome.
It was almost tuned out by her gauntlet thingamabobby because it was yellow.
Oh, right.
And is that when you decided to make everyone's weapons black, or you already decided that earlier? Because with Ruby's design,
Yeah, because
that. Yeah.
you liked it when we were auditioning to be character designers. She did that on her character sheet where she had Ruby's weapon as just a silhouette, and you were like, "That was really cool. You should do that for the PNG cutouts as well." And Butterfly was like, "Okay."
Plus, it was simple.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember it was because like the weapons could get complicated, and she was like, "I'm not having that. I'm here for the character designs." I vaguely remember that line of something like that being discussed.
Sorry.
No, it's not a problem.
No, it's good.
It's actually really
good.
cool for the stylistic element of it, because
Yeah.
it does make the fire stand out more when it's just like this black gauntlet on her, and it's very
a valid artistic choice.
It's kind of interesting how that like kind of corresponds to the fact that her other arm is completely, it's completely colored and shaded and all that such. So it's like that arm technically is still her weapon, but it's also not treated as her weapon. It's also a part of herself. I think that's just very interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
So okay, let's see.
But, yeah, it's a gorgeous PNG. It really like brings the whole thing to life, I think.
Also, dang, that fire is complex. I'm looking at it and I'm like, well,
Yeah, it's got like motion blur. It's got shading. It's got colors.
I'm not very good with fire. or
No, it's
anything.
good. That's what I'm saying. It's
Well,
good.
you should, because this picture is
I
fire.
usually like paint
But it
fires. To see someone else be like, okay, we doing the draw fire. I'm like, oh wow, that's what. So you did like motion blur underneath. Is that like also done in the fire color? Or is that done like with a white?
I just smudged it with the water tool.
Oh,
I winged it.
okay. My brain was like, I was like, that looks like motion blur, like a radial blur. What program do you use, by the way?
Yeah, and yes, thank you, JJ, for commenting
I'm
on
not
the
sure.
whole brown versus yellow thing. That was another thing that I was really keen on when working on the palette for Yang. I really, really, really wanted yellow again, or at least as yellow as I could.
Like leaning towards
While
a
still
yellow
making
brown,
it actually
not like a
look
mud
good and
brown.
being somewhat faithful to other stuff that the show had done. So that was something I pushed for as well, to make it like more of a golden brown kind of, and adding more gold.
Yeah.
Bring them their proper colors.
Yeah.
We don't need our characters wearing potato sacks. We need our characters actually being characters.
No, sacks! Sacks are evil!
Like Rooster Teeth with Ruby with their fucking character designs. It's like they've become so afraid of being colorful, and it's so tragic. Like everything's so
I mean,
muddy.
And their
one of the
designs are kind of
favorite
lazy.
one of my
Yeah,
favorite
I don't
things
know.
from the first volume was the fact that each design of the main Ruby girl had like other colors from the other Ruby girls. So when you looked at them, it's like, oh, they're a team. Like with Weiss's red earrings and the red like backing to her collar. It's just like all those, like nice little colorful like flares into each other. It was,
Yeah,
like,
they had good accents and stuff, and like they could have theoretically continued having good accents, but then they just didn't. But now we're trying to bring
Like
that
it's
back.
purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who do
I
we
mean, she
wanna
does
move
have
on
the
to
black
next?
pants at least, so there's that.
Yeah. Who do we want to move on to next?
Oh, and I did make her bullets on her like little ML belt on her red, so I think that might have been like, or red orange, something like that. They look mostly red.
Yeah, the
I think that
shotgun
might have
shells are
been
great.
one little nod that I tried to make her have a reference to Ruby as well. It feels like that's what I did. It feels like it.
Well, since
That's
we're on
also-
partners, we should do Blake next.
Oh yeah. I think Blake is the next reference
I
sheet
just
and
realized
character design
something.
after
It's not capturing.
Yang,
there we
anyways.
go. All right, you guys should be able to hear me a lot better now. Not the people in the stream, but the people.
Oh, I
in...
do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was wondering, like, why are they not, like, I'm
You
making
sound so
comments
much
and no one's
better.
listening
Oh
to
my
me.
God.
And I'm like, wait,
Oh,
I'm using the wrong microphone I'm using my headset microphone for... No,
Amazing.
thankfully, I was using the correct microphone on the stream. I should be using that on stream. That's
Ladies
what
and
it connects
gentlemen.
up to.
Oh my god, you're right. I had you at like 200.
Yeah, I had you at 200 too.
Yeah, I was like, oh wait, I'm making comments like, we don't want it to be mud brown or anything, and no one's making like you're going on your own little tirade, and I was kind of interrupting a little bit, so I kind of felt bad, so I kept quiet.
Oh no,
but...
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were talking.
Yeah, no, I was like, wait, what? So, if you want, we can move on to
Blake was next after
Blake.
Yang. Since we're
Yes.
going backwards.
Blake is a very fun one. This actually wound up because the first thing that we wanted to do was make a casual outfit for her. Like we'll talk about the combat one in just a minute, because that came by complete accident.
Yeah, you actually didn't really explain what exactly we were doing with Blake at first, and so me and Butterfly, we thought she was going to have like an outfit that would serve through both 4, 5, and 6. So we were trying to like think of it that way. But because you said casual, I was like trying to go. And anyway, you can talk now.
You know, so yeah, my because of how my volume 4 is structured, it's a retelling of volume 5. But the fact is, Blake is not putting herself intentionally in the combat situations until later in when she joins the guard. So I was like, all right, well, let's give her a nice casual outfit that she's wearing because she's going to be doing that. And you know what? When she goes into combat, she'll be wearing the guard uniform because she's joining the guard. And that was just sort of like yeah, we can do that quick and dirty. I did not expect the guard uniform to end up looking freaking fire on her.
Oh,
Like,
well, of course. I've always thought that the guard uniform weirdly matched Blake way better as a design than what she actually got, because it's actually primarily black, and it still has white and yellow on it.
That is true.
It's so
It
weird
looks so
how
cute.
It's strange
Yeah.
to think about thought out. Yeah.
yeah, it's weird how the guard uniform looks so much better on her than that white coat thing they gave her. But anyway, once you clarified that Blake's casual redesign was just supposed to be a purely casual, non-combat uniform, it was pretty straightforward as well, because I just thought, okay, she's at the beach. We wanted to give her flowy. Yeah, we kind of like we wanted to give her something kind of flowy and soft. And my thought process was I wanted her to wear something that wouldn't flatter her figure. I kind of wanted her to wear something that kind of obscured her a little bit, but also still lightweight and good for the beach. So that's where
It's
that,
not something you would expect her to wear.
yeah, that's kind of where that whole idea of like that drapey sort of shirt thing came from, with the white underlayer and the sun hat, because sun hats are really cute and great for beaches.
I love the sun hat. Although people were like, "Wait, she was wearing the sun hat before what? You took off her bow came." I'm like, guys, it's a PNG. I can't remove the hat from the PNG, and I'm not gonna ask the artist.
Sun hat.
Yeah.
Sun
Guys,
was
these
there.
are Wendy's.
I'm not just gonna ask the artist to like, re-render a completely new
Make
image of her
alternate
with the
versions
bow,
of hat, no
just so
hat.
I can have it for like one scene. Like if Blake had on her bow more frequently in this volume, I would have asked for an alternate PNG for her. But no, I'm not gonna bother Butterfly with creating a PNG that's gonna last one episode at most.
I would have just topped off the top of her head and stuck a bow on it. Like, there we go.
I like the idea, like you don't even like. You don't even. I can pull up the.
She just still keeps wearing ribbons out of habit. Wait, that's actually not a bad idea. I should remember that for the future.
What, wearing
Oh,
ribbons out of
ribbons
habit?
thing. I want to say something I really like about like the off the shoulder blouse thing is that it's got like this little upper like ruffled edge or lace or something. I like that because I feel like that's something missing from all of her designs. Like her designs went. If you notice in the first volume, she has like little lacy accents to her, like little black coat.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of little like details to the edges, and it's
No longer has
like
that
they
at
were
all.
like, anyway, Ruby's serious. She's gonna have a big black coat and have a cat jumpsuit that has a lot of zippers.
I think that, yeah, I think the little frill things that I gave her, I think that probably like some of the references I was looking for, because for both Blake and Yang, I was looking at Ojo fashion, because like I thought, okay, if Ruby and Weiss are getting the Lolita fucking treatment, then Blake and Yang gotta have the Ojo, because they're the lesbians and they gotta, obviously lesbians gotta dress like men.
Yeah, generally also I miss Ruby's more lolly aesthetic, like Lolita. That's Lolly's different from Lolita.
Yeah.
That's a little different.
I mean, to be fair, she has a little bit of that appeal too. Let's not lie.
Okay, if we're getting the lolly thing.
But yeah, I think that's probably where some of the frill
hate
came from.
Ruby's chest, but that's like a whole argument.
And also because like whole sort of kind of vaguely French fashion things, because Blake's supposed to reference Beauty and the Beast, and that's a French film. So yeah, I just like thought that Blake should always just kind of have a vaguely elegant thing going for her.
Yeah, really just it's so casual, but it's so her. I love it.
Mhm.
The little sun hat. She's like, yeah, I'm in menagerie. It's hot here. We're Australia basically.
Sindman donated $2. We got this a minute ago,
Oh.
saying Blake's redesign is such a significant improvement, especially the combat one, in comparison to the canon recent designs of her, especially her awful short hair design as of recent. I don't actually have a problem with her short hair, although I have a problem with how it's rendered. It's the rest of the
Yeah,
outfit.
the model isn't. They don't
I
have
mean,
the
short hair-
flowers.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily a bob specifically is good for Blake, but I'm not opposed to her having short hair because short hair can be.
I mean, I usually like shorter hair on dark haired girls. It's just a taste. Just overall, like her design in volume 7 and 8 is terrible for so many other reasons beyond the hair. Like the hair is passable in comparison to the bodysuit that literally has no way to get out of it.
Yeah, it's a
The latex suit.
it's a fucking hard ass thing to climb out of, but also it's fucking weird because they cut her hair really short, so it's like, okay, well, they give her a white coat because at least that separates her black hair from the rest of her body. That makes sense. But then they cut her hair really short so it doesn't even cover any part of her body, and she still wears freaking white the whole time. And it's like, what are you doing? You're not limited anymore. You can give her more black again. It's okay.
I think it's just generally like I feel like they constrain themselves too much.
I don't even know what they do.
Yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall and listen to their design processes so much.
Me
I
too.
would too, but I think they give the designer free reign over what they do.
I think they give Ayn Lee like a lot of free reign. So I just kind of want to I don't know. I just don't even know. Sit inside of her studio at some point and just watch what the fuck she does, because
I find it very interesting. I follow Ayn Lee on Twitter. Her style is super anime, but it's also like super like realistic. Like when she does JoJo art, you're like, that's where she's most comfortable, where it's like realistic and all painted out. And it's just very interesting to see like the things that she does.
Pursue her fucking strengths then. That's so weird that she would push herself.
I mean, a steady job, you get a lot of freedoms as an art director.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't know. I feel like she could like make her strengths work for what she is working in as well. Like, I don't know. It does kind of seem like she handicaps herself in some ways, trying to be a certain way. And my own experience is that doesn't always work. Like, I would sometimes try to push myself with some design to do things that I wasn't necessarily comfortable with, but. And those design pitches, I think, often got rejected anyways. But yeah.
Yeah. So, any anecdotes about the PNGs themselves, beautiful butterfly lady?
Oh yes.
The
Blue
casual
butterfly.
one?
My brain. My brain. I can't read your name. It's so tiny. I'm looking at a tiny version of the chat on my screen. And so I'm just like, I have so much going on. My brain is not functional.
Butter is perfectly okay. The casual one, I wanted it to be super soft, so I didn't give her like a very strong looking face.
Mm-hmm. I think it looks good.
Serene, like she's out there and the wind is blowing.
Yeah,
very
she's just
relaxing.
vibing.
I like.
And with the armor one, I wanted her to look fucking battle ready, like she's going out there and kick someone's ass.
Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, that was also a really.
That's one of the things I'm always like. I was just disappointed by limitation in the fact that like I had to ask you to be like, all right, now with the facial expressions, we kind of got to go with like a little more generic kind of neutral expressions. We can't be like super extreme in their expressions because we got to have these PNGs match different tones and settings for when I use them. And like I always felt kind of guilty about that because like you couldn't. I wasn't giving you as much free reign as say like Mupa, who got to have like all these fun different expressions in her character designs. So I always felt like I was kind of constraining you in that regard.
Could always pop on different facial expressions.
Yeah.
Get those different face plates.
They're a little easier to edit than the rest of the thing.
We could explore that in the future. Maybe we could. That would actually make some scenes way easier to edit because from for like the longest, even still now, my go-to option for indicating a change in character position and or emotion is literally just to flip the PNG horizontally. You guys will notice that in my work is like I give a little bit of an indication that like, oh, now they're looking away, now they're looking back, now they're looking.
I felt that in the Ilya Blake scene in the jail. I felt that.
We're gonna go full light novel on this eventually, where the like vaguely shifting expressions but never changing poses. and
In
it'll
the
be
jail, they didn't move in the jail. It was one PNG. It was one image in the jail. I didn't have.
I'm done. But anyway. Visual novel aesthetic though. It's like, that's basically what we're aiming for. We can't do full animation. It's just like, okay, we get these PNGs, and then for important cutscenes, we got these nice glossy JPEGs for you.
Who do we want?
I don't want to
hit?
like interrupt anything, but I'm here. I made it.
Oh, Rudolph, you're alive.
You're not interrupting, dude.
We're not interrupting anything.
Finally.
We were just talking about the redesigns.
So everyone remember, we actually got roughly through. We had 8 designs in total, I think. We actually just got through 4 of them total. So I think.
No. Okay, wait. Let me count. Let me see. Ruby.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 4.
4.
Blake.
And so
Roman,
we have
yeah.
Nora, John, Ruby, and Weiss.
It was 9 redesigns. 9.
Ren. Forgot about Ren.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ooh.
So okay,
He's such a quiet character.
We'll come back to those. We'll take a brief break from the character design process, and we'll talk about some of the other ones that got missed. I believe the 2 people that we had here that were gone are now Rudolph and Trokazor. I'm trying to remember which ones Trokazor did, but let me try and pull up that's my streams. Also, since we're at what, max capacity? Yeah, we're at like almost 60 people. Brief shout out. Anyone that's on my channel currently will notice that I have almost none of my streams up anymore. That's because I'm actually migrating all of my stream archives over to a different channel. The channel will be linked eventually, but just know that all streams, barring a few exceptions, like the Fixing RWBY streams, are going to be moved to a different channel. That includes the Fireside streams, casual gaming streams. I will not be streaming from that channel. I'll be streaming from this channel. I'll just be downloading this at the end of that stream and uploading it there because streams end up killing channels, apparently.
Really?
Yes, they apparently by the algorithm, they just throttle them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's always good to have an archive, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it means we're not on the main channel anymore.
No, the Fixing RWBY stuff is going to be on the main channel.
No, I mean,
Hooray!
our little, like Sketchy Huntsmen, streams.
I think because we're related to Fixing RWBY, we get to stay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I said.
So-
This is a Fixing RWBY stream, so I mean, it counts
Oh,
Fixing
fuck
RWBY.
yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm just idiot today.
It's
Let's
okay.
keep going.
Have a pizza.
I mentioned earlier, I'm real tired. It's coming back around.
Window capture. go
Maybe you
over
should
here.
drink yourself.
Also, Rudolph, how is your brother handling?
Pretty good. I don't want to go into any
Yeah,
detail
I'm not
about
asking
it.
for details. I'm just
Yeah.
asking if he's okay.
But yeah, he's perfectly fine. I had to go and help him move his shit out of his girlfriend's house, and he's a little bent out of shape about it, but he's doing all right. That's the whole reason why I'm late. I had to go help him out with that, which is no offense, but that's just more important than a stream.
Yep. No, I perfectly understand that. That's why
Yeah.
I was when you told him. I'm just happy you told me. That's why I always fear is like people not telling me these things. Now, so the first person that we have here, Traka. How you doing there, buddy? I know you've been quiet this entire time.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. So let's talk about your contributions. The one that I have marked the most right now is the Menagerie Mirror, and Adam receiving it. Do you have anything interesting or fun to talk about this particular series of images where Adam is receiving news that Blake is in Menagerie?
The only fun fact, I think I had some sort of fun text on the actual paper, but I don't remember what it was at the moment.
Let me see. Oh, I didn't mean to zoom in. Crap. How does this work? Okay, there we go. Good. Disturbing frostbite craze among youth. Somebody once told me the world was going to roll. You had All-Star.
Yes.
So yeah.
Grim Trouble's heroic. Young Faunus kills Deathstalker. Yesterday evening in Hunter's. You actually added a nice level of detail. Actually added her name, her name, her age. The furious battle was a sight to behold. Yeah, you put the atomic fire bursts from. Okay, wait a minute. I don't think there was atomic fire.
Were you there?
I mean, I wrote it.
Well, I mean, yeah, perhaps. But the reporter says there was atomic fire. Are you saying that this is a trustworthy
fake
news source?
But yeah,
We need to build a wall around Menagerie.
I'm not entirely sure what else to bring up about this. It's a fairly simple piece. Did you have fun drawing close-up Adam's face?
Yeah, it was fun to try to express him despite wearing his dorky mask.
I mean, I have to imagine like under that mask, he's like red and chafed. Like, because I play VR now, and I do like every single day, and I feel like I still have like a red indent on my skin from it.
He's got
Oh God.
on the lenses. His eyes are sweaty.
Knees weak, arms are heavy. He's got vomit on his
Stop.
sweater already.
Stop.
He's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting.
Trucker with the same.
I would love it so much if there was no SDC scar. It was just like a red imprint on his face of where his mask was. Look at what they made me do to myself.
Ask Lightning in his
Oh my
hands.
god,
He
what
might
if
do
it was
that.
like a tan line to where it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
he
he
lifted
just
it
has
up and he's
tan
super
right over
pale?
It's got acne. It says it's really bad acne under there.
No.
Sorry, I know.
Anything
We
but
have.
acne.
Is it right that we like both? This is how this wound up. Both the character designers ended up being major Adam fangirls, and I think
Oh,
Coffee
yeah.
is also a major Adam fangirl. Am I right on that, or am I
Ironically, we're both
mischaracterizing?
huge Adam stans, and that was probably one of the contributing reasons why we both like got really dug our heels in over him and like had a hard time agreeing, because we both just really like him a lot.
That was a fun conversation to dispute. But then,
Who gets to redesign their husbando?
So let's see. Now we gotta get to Rudolph's, which I'm trying to find it. We're somewhere in the middle.
Yay! I've been waiting to talk about this.
Yeah, here we go.
The
All
time
right.
is now.
So very first one that pops up for Rudolph is one of the coolest shots in this entire project, because I didn't expect it to be as cool as it was. Literally my entire direction I even read it in the script, is I was like, oh, we're gonna keep things simple. Meanwhile, Rudolph's just over here. Fuck you, man.
Yeah, I wanted it to be the best it could possibly be. Oh God, I'm still getting PTSD looking at this shot right now. So I didn't know how to tackle this my part in fixing RWBY, because up to this, when I was creating this, I was very, very new to digital art, and to be perfectly fair, I still am. I'm nowhere near as good as I'm going to be. But like, all of my art up to this point was ink on paper, and that just I would not be satisfied with that if that is what I gave Celtic. It needed to be, I felt like it needed to be something better. So I actually, because I was taking like so much time with it, I was one of the last people to finish my work. I figured early on, look, I'm going to take what I have right now, import it into Clip Studio Paint, and I actually downloaded tutorials on how to like shade the sky, what like different layer formats did. All the feathers that you see on that griffin's wing, that is a single feather that I painted specifically for that and I copy and pasted it over and over and over and over and over again so that he has a full wing of full wing of feathers.
Wow.
Let's see, the explosion in the back.
Oh god, I remember this.
I used a couple of transparent images as a base, and I painted the explosion over it. And even if you look at Neo's umbrella, that's taken straight from the show. That's a screenshot that I took from the show, and I morphed it to fit the umbrella in the image. And I got all the way through with it. I got all the sky painted, all the stars, all the explosions. I got the ship nice and pretty, and I thought that I was done. And then suddenly one night when I was drinking hot cocoa, Celtic over here was like, "Hey bitch, I need you to change something."
Because I had forgotten that Neo was supposed to be wearing the Atlas uniform.
Yeah, the original image was her wearing her actual volumes 1 through 3 outfit, but he wanted me to change it, so I changed it real quick, and it took me a long time for me to actually get satisfied with this image, but I got there, and I think it looks pretty fucking good.
I remember we were talking about this, and at some point we actually went through the episode proper of the original show, and there was a frame of the crashing airship that was like 1-for-1 what you drew here, and you were so angry because you didn't have that reference. You completely missed that reference.
I was pissed. I could have kicked a puppy at that moment.
Oh my god.
For me, the fact that you taught yourself how to draw digitally and how to do practically on the fly is absolutely amazing to me, because I get really discouraged when I'm dealing with digital art programs and I don't know how to do something. Like, why can't I just want to do the? Why can't it be simple? So that's super impressive to me.
Well, thank you.
And I will remind people, this is another situation where I asked him for technically 2 images because he did 2 different scenes. I asked him for 2 images total. Keep that in mind.
Sorry, I just saw butterflies meme.
I gave him like 5 or 6 because as you guys will come to know me more and more, you'll find out that I have no idea when to stop. And I desperately need someone like Celtic to like pull the fucking leash back on me.
Yeah, you really do.
But the to be perfectly fair, I did cut a couple of corners because I was learning at the time. The process that I used and experimented with specifically for like the feathers, which I painted by myself, but for like the umbrellas and the ship in general, is a process called photo batching, which is where you take like specific parts of an image and you put them in your painting so that you can use them as a base and paint over that more and more. That specific shot of the ship that you can find in volume 3 episode 11, I believe.
Yeah.
And I just simply painted over it so that it looks natural with the scene, and I think I did a pretty good job with it.
But the next image was another. This is a sequence of 3 images where Neo is falling. So the next one is even more so. It's the air pad where everyone's supposed to be escaping from. It's a little. I remember like you wanted to add a lot more detail, but because of the time crunch, you couldn't. Like you wanted to add a lot of people down there. You wanted to add things, but like we didn't have time for that, and so we had to just kind of go. And I was just looking for something representative. I wasn't looking for somebody that would actually give these details, because again, in my script, I'm like, we purposely look away from all these things so we don't have to strain our artists.
No, crunch time. 17-hour days.
Little did you know, artists love throwing in tons of like little personal touches.
Now
we love CD Projekt Red here.
Everything in this image, let's see, the umbrella I remember I painted, but I used the same process on that as I did with the first umbrella. So all the parts that you see right there is actually Neo's umbrella from the show.
Oh.
The griffins that you see right there is taken from the same the same episode where I got the ship, and of course the helipads right there, as well as the ship that you see, is also photo bashed. The skyline in the background, I remember specifically, he told me he wanted the city in the background right there. So I think I took that from volume 1, and I simply like painted it so that I simply painted it in and added the little glowy effect so that it looks like the Blitzkrieg was there.
I remember the discussion we had on this, because you put this there and you had like open ocean, and I'm like, Rudolph, the city is viewable from there. He's like, what? No, it opens to the ocean. I'm like no, you can see Vale from Beacon. It's like, okay, where do you see it in the show? I immediately go to volume 2, where you have Ironwood and Glenda having this deep conversation about being concerned over things, and just right there from the helipad, you see all of Vale, and he's just like there's a moment of silence, and just fuck. I heard it. We weren't even talking in a call.
It was the fucking Neo outfit all over. Well, not that. But it was somewhat of an easy fix. But yeah, I felt stupid because I didn't. What was it? Volume 2 that shot was in?
Yeah, that was volume 2.
Oh yeah. Who remembers? Who cares about volume 2?
I do, considering I fixed it.
But yeah, I wanted to add a lot more detail. But I am glad that I got 2 specific things in this shot right here. The first one is if you zoom in way into the helipad and follow that smoke trail, there's actually a soldier right there that domed that kill streak right there, and that will directly lead into the next image. Let's see. And secondly, that ship that you see burning at the bottom right there, that's specifically taken from Volume 5, Episode 2, when Weiss was defending it from the wasps. So that's the same exact ship, just recolored and painted so it looks.
Actually, that reminds me, there is a small detail in that last image that we never actually mentioned. Can someone point on the screen where Ruby is?
The stream has to catch up.
Yeah, I know. But in that very first image, Ruby, he was very proud of putting that detail in there. But Ruby is viewable in this image.
Yeah, the part where Ruby jumps off.
Yeah, I recoil hop. That's one of the coolest elements of her character. She recoil hops. Yeah, I'll zoom in. So long, everyone hold your finger where you think she is, and I will zoom in on where she actually is. Tiny little Ruby. Actually, considering the size of her, that's relatively detailed.
Mm-hmm. Again, that's taken straight from the show, just shrunk down and reshaded to make it look like she's actually there.
That's how it be.
Okay, so the last image of there are 4 images of the Neo falling arc. The third image is one of the coolest.
I love the third image. I got real metal with the third image.
The idea of this griffin exploding from outside, then inside, then out through the mouth, that's...
Yeah. I need to let the stream catch up, so yeah. Oh, I love this image so much. This is one of the coolest. I think that this is the best RWBY fan art that I've done. So this is the this in the original script, he wanted a griffin to slam into Neo. And I figured I can't make that representative. I can't represent that accurately with one image. And I remember why I wanted to do it digitally in the first place. It's because most of the shots in this sequence was actually in the sky, and I cannot do that well on pen and paper. I needed to do it digitally. So, but anyway. So this is the griffin that was shot in the previous panel, and I love this image because you can clearly see that Neo is freaking out. But my favorite part about this is you can see, if you look very closely, you can see the Griffin's rib cage is exposed, and the explosion is popping out through his throat. It's so cool.
That is really cool.
I love that one. It took me about took me about a week to paint that, but
I think it came out great.
I
it's
do too.
freaking awesome.
Labor of love, dude.
Then
Take off.
this was the money shot that I had in my mind that I thought just came out excellent, with Neo in the crumbling debris, having barely survived her fall, and then watching as Roman's little hat flutters down, a little on fire. I forgot you put it on fire, onto her cane, or onto her the handle of her umbrella. And I thought that was just exquisite. Great work.
I remember I speed ran this painting over the course of like 2 nights, which is like record breaking. It's kind of funny. The first panel took like 2 months. The second one took like 4 weeks. The third one took a week. Like this one took 2 days, and the last 2 I just busted out. So it's unfortunate that there's like a decrease in quality as they go along because of my poor time management. But with this one, yeah, I still wanted to keep the continuity with the Griffin, so you can see the Griffin there just dead. He's okay. He'll walk it off. He's just chilling. The beacon in the background I actually did not paint. I took that from a different painting, and the reason why I did not upload this was because I don't know why I didn't upload this to DeviantArt, but yeah, I simply like this is the biggest liberty I took was the beacon in the background. I didn't feel necessarily good about it because it's from another person's artwork, but I took it, I reshaded it, I placed it in the background, and you know that's just what I had to do because of the time constraints. But as far as the clouds is concerned, all the clouds are mine. All of the debris that you see scattered around is mine. Yeah. Despite the time constraints, I think that it turned out pretty good, and I think that I got the point of view of Neo pretty good.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing, because like that was the big task, was it all has to be from Neo's point of view. I was fixated that like we're going to basically get a upfront and personal aspect of what it's like to be Neo for these few seconds, and I think you pulled that off superbly. Of course, then we get into your sketchy work where you're just doing sketch lines. Her with Chrome Daddy. Did you forget about Chrome Daddy?
Hold on now. What's this about Neo and Chrome Daddy?
The Chrome Daddy is apparently her doctor, according to Rudolph here.
Oh yeah, there he is, fucking Chrome Daddy.
Oh my god.
I don't.
I didn't notice it until you pointed it out to me. Until you put like how do you like Chrome Daddy? I'm like, what the doctor? He's like, yeah, his name's Chrome Daddy. I'm like, I looked at it and I'm like, he looks. What?
What?
I completely glazed over it. I didn't see Chrome Daddy first, and then it's like, oh, I see. You took some liberties there. Gotcha.
So, like I said, I busted out these last images in a night because it was poor time management on my part, and if I could go back and like redo these and like really put my all into them, I really would love to, but I gotta move on from it. But yeah, time constraints. I busted these out in a night, and I figured, you know what? If it's gonna be like real sketchy, then I have to put in something funny and worthwhile. And so, Chrome Daddy is forever going to be my greatest contribution to Fixing RWBY, and nobody can tell me otherwise. I'm gonna put Chrome Daddy in the background of the next Fixing RWBY somehow.
It just,
Oh,
he just follows people
God.
around.
Chrome Daddy becomes the next old man.
I mean, that
Chrome
actually
Daddy
that would
will-
be maybe they're cousins. They're cousins. And
Oh,
of
yeah,
course,
they're
the last one is Neo holding the hat and trying to make her color in her hair maintain itself, but it can't. Which I think you did a nice job just adding like a little bit of light color, which does the trick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that
Overall-
is what.
Overall, I think I really, really liked working on Fixing RWBY this year. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to be perfectly honest, and I really cannot wait to show off how much I've improved in next year's Fixing RWBY for whatever scene that you give me.
Big
didn't
donation from Eternal One saying terrific work, Rudolph.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you enjoyed your time, Rudolph. Didn't you join this year?
Yep, this is my first year on Fixing RWBY.
I just find the wording kind of funny because you don't have previous years to compare with.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
no,
fair,
it's-
I think it's a lot
We're
of people's
classmates. I was
first
gonna
year.
say we're co-high, but that's not the right word.
What were you saying,
Well,
Celtic?
Yeah, there are so many people here that is their first year, so it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Like, I just go down the list because we had 12 people the first year, and now we have almost 30. Like,
Yeah,
more than
majority
half
of
of
the
our crew
people-
are completely frosh.
Mhm.
And I could only imagine, like, because this is the most warmly received, and I've gotten the most asks to join since this this particular volume. So I can only imagine the size we're going to reach next volume. That's going to be insane.
You're
Well,
gonna have
fuck.
your hands full.
I
Oh,
am.
man, this whole project of yours, Fixing RWBY, it's more well done than you actually give yourself credit for, and like it really does mean a lot to the community because yes, we're the quote unquote hate them or whatever people want to label us as. We're the critics, but like this Fixing RWBY, I feel like is like a really big like type like a small big type of thing that brings a lot of the community together and gets people talking about the show and like how we can improve it and theories and all that. It's a lot of fun, so I would give yourself a little bit more credit. So all I'm saying.
It's a fandom group project, and we're all just having fun with it.
It's
And I
great.
think like it also helps that you really take your time with it and like, really try to pay attention to the show because like there have been like other RWBY rewrite series that have exist on YouTube, but as far as I've been able to tell, those other series just kind of bang them all out right
Yeah,
away.
A
like,
lot of them were.
one after the other.
This is the thing that really irritates me is that, like, when I see like, oh, I'm gonna fix RWBY, these people aren't actually sticking around to fix RWBY. They're just like, okay, I'm doing this once and we're done. We're not touching on the rest. Which, admittedly, my next fixing before we actually get to Volume 5 is going to be fixing Wonder Woman. Actually, the part of the script that I'm working on right now. Because 1984 actually has so many good ideas. It reminds me a lot of RWBY
It
in like
does.
how good it could be and how bad it actually is. But like so many of these fans that they come around, like I haven't has anyone checked on Unicorn of War's channel? Has he updated his fixing at all recently? 'Cause I haven't been paying attention to it. I've been
I don't
Sense.
know. I kind of only saw part of his first installment, and I wasn't really vibing with the suggestions he was making at the time, so I didn't see the rest. But yeah, a lot of people, they go through it once and then they just kind of leave it there because they do everything all at once.
Yeah,
And you really take your time and wait to see what the show does first, and I think that kind of makes it a little more special.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this like. I mean, it would be kind of cool if at some point we reach like DBZ abridged levels, but I don't know if we ever will.
Hell yeah.
I would be so happy if this little weird side project of mine ends up taking off. Like, God, with all the different attention it's gotten, it would be great if I get like voice actors and such and actually start writing out scripts and such. But
That'd
like,
be pretty wild.
that'd be pretty
That would
wild.
be
but I have to
crazy.
reel myself in because like I have my own work I want to do. I don't want to just sit
Dude,
here.
I think we would make it if we had character models.
No,
Yeah.
we would get
And
sued. We would get
background,
sued. I'm
like,
telling you.
artists.
we would get sued.
Yeah, we would get sued
Because
so bad.
immediately Rooster Teeth's kind of like, hey, wait, Ruby's not making any much money, but wait, what's this guy over here doing?
No,
Oh.
not 3D models. I mean, like how Butterfly did the 2D.
Okay.
You can make puppeted models, and we have backgrounds for that. You know.
No, but if you think about it, Rooster
I can make
Teeth
it out of
has
chibis.
done Rooster Teeth has done a project on Halo, so that technically can't work.
We're just gonna skirt as close to plagiarism as humanly possible.
Yeah, no, that's basically what it is. And for the record, on the Halo thing, they were never actually. They were just using the assets in the game for. That gets into like how gameplay is technically your own. You own the gameplay that you create.
It's a different kind of product.
Yeah, and on top of
With
that,
video games.
Bernie Burns is also a co-owner of the Halo brand. They actually gave him co-ownership.
Oh.
Oh
So-
wow.
Yeah, he is one of the him and 343 Industries, 343 Industries own Halo. Like he owns like I think a fourth of the brand. Like there's some kind of he basically has
Wow.
license to do whatever the
Oh
fuck he
my
wants.
god.
That's huge.
Well, it's because Red vs.
Hunter
Blue
the
was such a
retired
huge
kid.
phenomenon.
Wow.
God.
Yeah.
True.
So that's that. So if Rooster Teeth comes to me and is like, hey, we want you to make like Ruby Alter or something like that, where like it's a spin-off, you can do your own thing with it. I'm like,
I started.
I am right there. I am right there. But I doubt that's going to happen because of a number of reasons. I am probably the one person they don't want making it. Considering Eddie Rivas yelled at me.
Oh my
I
god.
still think that was so uncomfort and unprofessional. Professional like that.
Professional.
It hurt me. Where I was like, wow, you didn't even bother to like look into the thing. Okay, sure.
Yeah, that was kind of a bad look.
Rudolph, you're
Let
gonna
me
say something?
It's like
Yeah.
oh,
Let me ask you something. Do you enjoy doing Fixing RWBY in the format that we're doing right now, Celtic?
Yeah, I
Seems
enjoy
like
it a
it.
lot. It's stressful at times, but I definitely enjoy it.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is a side project of yours. So, and you want to work on your own work. Believe me, I of all people know what that's like. So, like, maybe like sometime in the future, when you actually start getting your own stuff pumped out, you can get all of us back together and we can do illustrations of your book and your work in order to promote it.
I do
He's
have.
gonna have
I-
to pay me first before I agree to that.
Yeah, yeah. I do have plans for that, and if it's my original work, I am actually going to be shelling out the monies for this. Because you guys,
Dude, that
if I
works.
could pay you guys now, I would. But I need every cent I have.
Although we've kind of been on this tangent for a little while now. So
Yes, we should hop back to the character designs. I think.
design knows.
we left off on Blake, so the next one would have been Weiss.
Okay. Did we actually do Team Juniper relatively first?
Yeah, I actually did Team Ranger first because I knew that they would be showing up first in your fixing, like they would be showing up in episode 1. So I gave them the highest priority to complete, and then Weiss came next, and then Blake, and then Yang, and then Adam and Roman. Like I did in order of appearance in the
Okay.
show.
All right, that's good. I am trying to remember because it's been a little while since we did this. It has been
So yeah, Ranger
almost a
got
year at this
highest
point.
priority, and they all got completed first. And that's why Weiss is next.
Okay, well here we have the lovely Weiss Schnee. So, any interesting anecdotes? Want to talk about this was the one that I remember being like the straining point of the partnership. I remember this like I know there was argument with Adam and there was debate. There was very heated debate, but I remember this one being like
World War III.
I was
I think
stressing
it-
at points where I'm like, oh my god, both my character designers hate each other. They're both going to quit. They don't want to work with each other. I remember like I had anxiety attacks over it. I was so worried.
Sorry.
I'm so happy that we managed to get a middle ground because that was the one thing. I sat there and I'm like, no, these girls are both amazing. They can work together. I know it. We just got to figure out how. It's all about the how.
I think Adam was like even closer to the breaking point than Weiss, but because Weiss was the first one, yeah, she was pretty rough, especially since that was, like I just said, the first really serious argument we had.
We had such different views on her.
We really did, and it was really kind of hard to like make them coerced, and I didn't back then figure out how to make it so that I could incorporate your vision a lot better. So I went through so many fucking pages of my sketchbook, coming up with concept after concept and nothing. And eventually what happened was we kind of took turns drawing parts of her outfit that we could agree on that we liked. And that's how we were eventually able to cobble this design together and agree for once. But yeah, Weiss was the other one that had a major argument blowout. And I'm sorry it caused you so much anxiety, Celtic.
No, it's
Sorry too.
no, it's perfectly fine, because that's the creative process. If there's no anxiety, then there's no relief at the end when you're like, yes, this is what we need. This is exactly it. Because that was like the most relieving moment, was when like I finally saw it, the moment where you both kind of clicked on her, and I'm like, oh, thank God, we're going to get results, and they're going to be amazing now. And we're all gonna be happy friends, and we're not going to hate each other. It's gonna be great. And that was just such a relief to me, and I remember being just so happy. It was great. It was a good moment.
I think like the hardest part for me was because like the thing about a whole argument with Weiss, it came after where we thought we had settled on a design for her. Then Butterfly came back and was like, I really just can't agree with this. It's like it's too similar to Ruby. We really need to change it. And
I was trying to find my voice, and I hadn't quite done it yet.
Yeah, it was early on, and like I was still really bad about like working as an actual team member and listening to others. But so I think that was the hardest part for me, was having to go back with something that I thought was done. And so that was rough in itself.
That's
different from the Adam.
Word of advice to every single artist out there. That is one of the most painful lessons you're going to learn. You will think you're done with something, and then later on you're going to have to go back to it and change it from the ground up. Like that is something like that. Yeah, you have to kill your darlings. I've done that with books where I've gone back and I'm like, I have to completely rework this from the ground up, because like it's not working in this way. I need to actually rework this and that, and it's always going to happen. So it's one of those things where like you'll resist it, but there's a point where you have to go like, fine, fuck it, back to the drawing board.
Yeah. I think what eventually made it click was like I realized by that you really valued the kind of figure skater look that Weiss sort of had going for her Volume 4 design, and you wanted to keep that aesthetic, while I was kind of like going more a businessy sort of route.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you were like.
I remember we had like pencil skirts and such for Weiss.
Yeah, a whole bunch of pencil things.
She had
and like
kind of this shawl thingy.
Yeah, she had this weird shawl thing, and I was actually inspired by one of Ruby's design pitches for that bit, but it was too similar to Ruby's mantle cape was the problem. And it was kind of decided that that wasn't really the best sort of approach for Weiss. And yeah, I was kind of leaning more on the whole business suit with like ribbons and buttons and things, and you were trying to do this figure skater thing, and they weren't meshing for a while. Until eventually I was like, oh, you're trying to do this. Okay, we can start over with that approach. And that's how we were kind of able to finally work together on it.
I think it was breaking down, because the thing that I remember really helping was, we did this for Adam as well, I think. I think actually a couple others where we actually broke down and be like, okay, what stands out to us in the terms of these character designs? Like,
yeah, that too. That was also like
that really helped, because before we were just throwing things at one another and seeing what's stuck.
Yeah. That was I actually kind of got the idea to fix my whole approach to design process from you, Butterfly, from like one of your solutions you tried to take to making it so that we could work together on Weiss was just like presenting different design elements first that could be picked and mixed and matched together. Although at the time I didn't really appreciate that very much because of various reasons. But yeah, I actually ended up taking inspiration from you with that approach later on, and it ended up working out really well. So thanks for that.
You are welcome.
People are brief aside, people are asking, what did Eddie do? If you guys remember a little while back, I had a stream with Tom where we went through the comments on the book by Kierzy Burkhardt, the new writer they were bringing on for Volume 7. And we went through we did an entire stream. We just went through the comments, just talking about what kind of book and what kind of quality was in the writing. And basically it was mostly I was just laughing at a bunch of comments that were like sometimes really well worded and sometimes had fair criticisms and sometimes had really seemingly BS criticisms. It was just us going through trying to figure out what kind of writer Kiersey was without actually having to buy the book. And someone on Twitter decided to tag Eddie and Kiersey and Miles and Carrie. No, I think it was just Miles and Carrie. They tagged Miles and Carrie in this with a link to the video, and they said that basically we spent 3 hours just ragging on Kiersey, hating her for no reason, and kept on. And instead of actually checking out the video, Eddie saw saw the link, saw the description that this person had, and decided to comment that I was somehow, I can't remember the exact words he used, but he said that I was like a garbage person, something along those lines.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I actually have the tweet up. He says, "Please don't tag people in garbage like this." And then he calls you like unhealthy for making a 3-hour rant because he clearly did not investigate into the video at all.
Yeah, and
It was a
I
really
immediately
chill
responded.
stream.
I'm like, dude, it's a 3-hour stream where we just talk about things and we make jokes.
You literally just go
Yeah.
over other people's reviews, and he didn't like bother to like actually look at the video.
And he sort of Could you scroll down to like what he replied to? What did I say and what did he say back?
Okay, so the person, he's like, "Don't tag people in this garbage," and then you're like, "Okay, that hurts. That's fair. I was trying to make wanted to be fairly critical of your coworker." Then he goes on to say, "I'm dumbfounded that this needs to be called out for being unhealthy behavior, and dumbfounded that someone thought it was helpful to tag this at an actual human being."
And then
What a
I remember
bastard.
I replied that like
He was very aggressive. It was actually
incredibly
alarming.
aggressive with it, like because
Jeez.
I was like, okay, look, it was a 3-hour stream. We talked about a lot of different things in there, and on top of that, I also said I agreed with him that whoever tagged him in that was being, or whoever tagged people in that was being an idiot. Because I don't think that was very, very Gucci of them.
No, I don't think so either. I think they were
The whole
kind
thread,
of
you're
trying
being
to
very
start something.
diplomatic. You're like, "Oh, I get your perspective. In fairness, it was a live stream. I certainly agree people shouldn't be tagged in videos." You're being very diplomatic. It was
Mhm.
I remember
it was just
cooled-
very strange. He came on
he
like
cooled,
very
he cooled at the very end of it. I remember that, and it was just very weird because like then I responded to him and he just stopped responding, and I'm like, okay, I wanted to kind of further this dialogue because I actually think we could have gotten somewhere. I think it would have been a very healthy, but he just decided to drop it because I think maybe he realized he was kind of being a dick, but I don't know.
Look.
I can understand being protective of your friends and understanding things, but that it felt a little unwarranted. Maybe you caught him on a bad day, but it did not leave a good impression on many people.
Yeah, if anything, I have a much better opinion of Kiersey than I do of Eddie right now, and that shouldn't be the case considering Eddie. I have examples of Kiersey's work where I can be like, "Hey, this stuff looks kind of bad," and with Eddie, I can be like, "Hey, he's generally pretty funny." It should be the opposite. I should be more in Eddie's corner, but no, I shy away from interacting with Eddie just because I kind of get this, I mean, especially watching him GM. If you watch the D&D streams, it's something about him just doesn't feel right. I feel like every single time he smiles, there's something weird behind it. I don't want to be personal against him. I feel like I'm like projecting that, but
I mean, I think Eddie's writing speaks for itself in a lot of ways.
oh yeah,
I mean, I think Kiersey's biggest thing is like she just has like really weird prose. Like from what I saw of her book, her prose is weird, but I think behind the weird prose, she has some solid character and story concepts. Maybe
I
I
think
don't
she's
know.
confident. Yeah.
I think she knows a couple of things about storytelling. She knows a thing or two.
yeah. I mean, the writing has in some ways improved. I think she probably handles the relationship drama a little bit better than everyone else does. I'm not saying it is strictly
By having
good.
it, by having relationship
by
drama.
having she's reached the step of having character drama.
Character interaction. Whoa.
I gotta show the Weiss, the 2 Weiss models that we have from the
Yes.
because we actually didn't show that
Jeez.
yet. So we have.
Before we get to that, I don't want to like make a.
Mm.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but I absolutely hate it when like content creators and like writers and everything get pissy about people like making like long streams and like taking a large part of their time and putting in a lot of effort to criticize their work. Like there are people like Mahler and Fat Man and all these different creators that take entire chunks out of their lives and put so much thought and care and energy into analyzing their work and criticizing it, not because they want to hurt you, but because they see something in your work. It's because they love what they see. They love the potential of the work and they want it to be better. And
Well,
you owe it to them
It's why.
to improve as much as possible.
Well,
I
understand your frustration, Rudolph, and I agree with it. But it's like sometimes taking criticism is really hard, and
It's why I've always objected to the term the hatedom. Like people kind of embrace that they're in the hatedom and such, because it's not the hatedom, it's the frustration dumb. That's what it is. It's what it really is. We're just like, guys, you could be so much better than this. You can be better, guys. Please, just listen to us, please.
Yeah, it's like you should always strive to be the best that you can possibly be. If you shelter yourself inside of an echo chamber and like don't listen to different perspectives, especially when it comes to your own work, you're only making yourself worse. If you don't take the time to interact with your community, both the people who praise your work and the people who criticize your work, you're never going to get all the perspectives, and you're never going to be able to improve on what you actually do need to improve. They're not haters. They want you to be better.
yeah,
If they hated you or didn't care about you, they would just ignore you.
Okay, let
you
Floof
are
speak.
correct, but you can't force people to listen, and that's the sad truth.
All right, Floof, what do you need to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as the former CEO of the Hate Dumb, which I've abandoned, I don't care about that anymore. Don't really do that on Twitter anymore. None of that. I just want to say that it is entirely just used as like we can label you as part of this group, so we don't have to listen to anything you say. That's the entire reason that term exists. It's just a way to dismiss like
Criticism.
anything negative about the show. Like if you say RWBY doing 5 protagonist speeches in Volume 6 is boring and bad, they'll be like, you're a hater. You're a hate dumb person.
But I think we've kind of dragged this conversation topic kind of behind us. Let's talk about pretty pictures.
Glossy JPEGs.
So, Butterfly, any interesting anecdotes about the Weiss JPEGs or the Weiss PNGs?
The song was fairly simple. The only thing that seems a little extra that I added was the sparkles on the coat.
Oh yeah, because I just drew them on white dots as like sort of white dots on the reference sheet. So you couldn't really see them all that well unless you zoomed in a lot.
Yeah,
maybe
you can't really see them super well on this from the distance that I was at, but like if I'm zooming in just so people can, there's a nice little sparkly sheen along the
there's actually a very soft sort of snow-like effect on her waistcoat thingy.
Who did this artwork again of Weiss?
Butterfly.
Which one?
Butterfly did the PNG, then I made the reference sheets.
Oh, okay. This PNG that we're looking at right now, the amount of sass that they packed into this pose is absolutely incredible, and I thank you for it. Like, it's one of my favorite Weiss artworks just for that.
And
You're welcome.
And of course the dress as well, the nice formal dress, which I love the nice formal dress. I don't know if it has like you have a nice little snowflakes
At the very bottom, there's little snowflakes that I added.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Lord.
snowflakes are
Oh,
great on
God.
her casual dress, and on the formal dress, there's like, I kept it mostly just really simple, but I fucking I did pitch a really complicated hairstyle for her formal wear, but that got shot down hard. And
I
in fairness,
remember
that
that.
probably would have been really fucking difficult for everyone to draw.
Because I was like, man, I love that hair. I don't think we can have everyone copy that. I think that would be murder on their hands.
I fucking copied it from some fucking picture of like a bridal hairstyle where it was just this maddening pile of like hairstyle coiffed into roses or some shit. But I have the sketch somewhere in my sketchbook. But yeah, that was initially how I pitched her fancy hair, but I got talked down from the edge with that one, and so we settled on something a lot simpler and easier for everyone to draw, but I also ended up still tossing in some little loopies on the side just because I thought it'd be fun.
One of the things that's the most frustrating about this show is the fact that they completely disregard the fact that these characters are based off of fairy tales, which is why I appreciate so much that this formal dress of hers really does make her look like a Disney princess that just didn't didn't make the cut. She looks so gorgeous in this. Like,
yeah, I
really
was
did a
looking
good
at
job.
Disney princesses, I think, for her formal wear.
I think is the word. It's just so pretty.
Yes. We all agree. Weiss is beautiful.
It's pretty.
She must be.
Yeah, don't knock yourself over the hair. Like, it's simple, but it's really elegant and it's really pretty. Like, she looks gorgeous.
Yeah. So we all agree Weiss is pretty and must be protect.
Yes.
So let's move into who is next on the list. Would that be Nora?
Next is Nora. Nora is next.
Yes. Miss I tried to give her pumpkin pants.
That was like one of the first the concept pitches where I had Nora in pumpkin pants, or I think I pitched it as well back in the day at some point.
Yeah, I remember that was one of your original pitches.
Really fun and sporty and still really cute and puffy, so I thought it'd fit her, but I got voted down on that, so we didn't give her pumpkin pants, just a regular skirt instead.
I remember, was there someone whose art that we were heavily influenced by? Who was it?
Yes, it was Lumi's again.
Lumi, yeah. Lumi, you had some really solid designs. Your suggest. Well, wait,
she's not here right now. But
I'm sorry. I was watching last stream to kind of figure out who we needed here. So they kind of got confused between that. But Lumi's design was Lumi had some really great designs, and I really just wanted to rip that wholesale. But the girls shot me down on that because they wanted to take their own spin on that. And I think what we came up with was a really great design. This is probably one of my favorite redesigns. I think it's both playful and it has like this nice kind of edge to it. Like it definitely, it feels like she could definitely jump right into battle, and it's just great like that.
She looks so cute.
Yeah, thank you. I think it helped that because it was talked about how like Rin and Nora should have a lot more Asiatic elements, and that idea was tossed around a lot. So I went for kind of like, I think I was looking at the sort of pleated skirt things that Miko's have in Japan for like the underlayer of her skirt. And I was just like looking at that kind of stuff, and I had such a hard time trying to figure out what the fuck her little shoulder thing was called. Like, I remember asking you guys, I was asking in other servers, I couldn't figure it out because I'd seen it in anime, and I knew it probably existed because I'd even seen it in historical anime. It's a fucking rash guard in English, but it's in Japanese it's called a morikote, and that's what she's wearing on her shoulders, and it took me forever to find that out, and I almost abandoned the idea of her having one, but then I found it again, and I was so happy and relieved.
Yeah, I think it just turns out exquisitely. I just love the expressions and poses you do. The upside down Nora, happy Nora, kind of sultry, suggestive.
Just giving Rin a little look, a little Netflix and chill look, a little grim slaying and
a little look at my bicep. You definitely want this.
That was the thing, like the toned bicep.
You gonna say no to this?
No.
So hard.
But can we talk about the hair? Going for pigtails.
Yeah.
How did we decide that? Because we were like, remember we were discussing like other characters having new hairstyles, and like What did we want? Did we want a ponytail? We wanted a ponytail, I think, but we were like, no, that's too Ruby.
Yeah, I think what that came from was like one pitch I did a long time ago in like the open redesign channel was like one thing I did where I gave her a side ponytail because I thought, and that that might be fun because it'll make her look sort of cute and sporty, and I did something new with Ruby's hair, and that went over really popularly. So what if I just did something with Nora's hair? And that's when the side ponytail, but then you said like, that's kind of like Ruby's, and then like the next pitch I did of her, I did the pigtails. And I thought that really stuck. And it did.
Yeah, and I remember
the first I had when I saw this was what was the thought process behind giving Nora specifically pigtails?
Well, I just thought that it would be really. I thought it would tie into like how her hair is growing. She still needs it like back and out of the way, but I also just thought it would fit into her kind of ginky girl personality,
very
just
childlike.
Really sporty and fun and cute. And I tried a couple of different iterations of how the pigtails would lay, where they would like lay straight or curl up, and eventually I just settled for the one that curled down, but I didn't really share those processes very much like I should have. But anyway, yeah, I just thought we all just kind of like sort of agreed that if we're gonna do something with her hair and like give her pigtails, then they would probably be really cute, so why not?
It also just really sells that her hair is in fact growing out, which is, I think, initially was kind of hard to tell with the switch of model, like the animation programs and the show.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's the style of things, versus this, where it's like, oh yeah, she's growing them out. She's
yeah, her hair's longer now.
I just
right now,
I just realized she's based on Thor, so at some point she's gonna get hair long enough that she ties it around front like a fake beard.
Oh dear God!
Yes.
She braids her hair together in
It'll
front
be
of her
like
chin.
what's her name from Bleach, Unohana or something like that.
Sure, why not?
She braids it on the front.
That's awesome.
Long-haired Nora, because I feel like that's in her way. Like, this is just headcanon of like her connecting to Pyrrha and how she had like really long hair, and she probably.
Oh, that's really cute and sweet. That's really cute and
if we
sweet.
get to the end of the series, like volume 10. For the volume, the every 3 volumes they redesign. So like in volume 10, she like has hair long enough that she starts putting it up like Pyrrha.
I'm just saying a crown would make sense because of her semblance, and it's metal. I'm just throwing it up there.
It's an antenna.
Really, oh, that's also great.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought about how I was like, it's not fair that Jean got everything that Pyrrha left. I distributed it amongst the team, and I keep it close to my heart always.
Well, I mean,
That's
like Ren and Pyrrha weren't really the closest, and Pyrrha and Nora ended on bad terms. So Nora's just sort of like, I can't. That's what I'm going to be touching upon later. I've only hinted at it really in volume 4, but Nora is definitely suffering from what happened to Pyrrha, and so like she can't stand to look at Pyrrha's stuff. There's a reason John's the one carrying all that stuff. It's because John's the only one that like had the connection to Pyrrha and feels like he's the only one that can stand to look at it, even though it hurts him. For Nora, it's just like, it's too much.
To care, like an anime pro tag.
Now, her PNG is interesting in that it's always kind of... This is like just something that unintentional. I didn't realize with the bend, it's kind of one of those weird things to animate, because when I do like the flipping character model thing that I do, hers is actually much more extreme than anyone else's, because where everyone else is like everything gets flipped unilaterally, for her neck, it flips along like the line of her neck, so like her head just does this huge swivel when she's the character model.
She's just real energetic, man. She's just bouncing around all over the place. It's fine.
She's bouncy, bendy.
I'm gonna throw this out there before we move on to a different character. It is such a missed opportunity with the pigtails to make her outfit blue and have her based off of Wendy's.
Oh God.
I don't know if Nora could pull off a checkered pattern. I'm gonna be honest.
We'll save that for a cutaway gag. We'll save it for a
I don't know.
cutaway
You could
gag.
Kingdom Heart it, make half her skirt like
Fucking plaid or some shit.
Yeah.
I'll do it with hearts. Plaid hearts.
I need Wendy's Nora in my life. My disappointment is immeasurable.
Well, man, you are an artist. You are free to.
You are an artist. You can draw her holding a burger.
Oh yeah,
I can help you with that.
You have the power.
I have the technology.
Never froze, did it?
I can help you with that.
Rudolph House says, I will heavily consider writing in a cutaway gag where Nora makes some kind of offhand mention to owning a burger restaurant or something, and we can have her in the Wendy's outfit.
Please.
Oh, yes.
If it works, don't like jeopardize the quality of the story.
Oh, of course, I would never do that. But like, if I can find a slot, because Volume 5 has a lot of wiggle room, so much wiggle room that I'm actually intimidated by it because I have no idea what the hell I'm going to fill it with.
Actually, this inspires something for me. Where's a pen? I gotta write it down.
We've thrown plenty of ideas at you.
I know. I'm just like, all of them I want to take, but like some of them are contradictory, so it's like,
Keep going then, my dude.
But yeah, was it Butterfly? Anything in specific that you want to mention about this PNG?
Well, she got really big tits. I didn't even do that on purpose.
I do want to comment. I remember when you were like showing the preview sketch of her before like moving on with the liner and stuff. You actually kind of tried to draw her pigtails being upturned at first.
That's right.
Yeah, and I ended up kind of having to correct you on that because even though I thought it looked really cute and I thought it looked fine and like I could understand it being your style, the problem for me, like I told you at the time, was that it looked too similar to how her hair is just laying down. And that was also like specifically why I went for her pigtails curving down the way they do, is because it's like I really wanted to emphasize that her hair is being constrained in a way that's different from how it normally lays. So it's bending opposite from how it normally would if it was relaxed. So that was a little something about her hair, a little tidbit that ended up needing to be fixed while the PNG was being made.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, next then would be Ren, right?
No, yeah. You're right. No. Yeah, next is Rin.
Yeah, we go. I'll scroll down just a bit. All right, so pretty pictures. There we go. So there we have Ren. It is in his wushu inspired design.
Yeah, wuxia.
Wuxia. I think super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, Ren ended up coming together like super duper easy because I didn't really change it all that much from previous pitches I'd done in the open channel. So Rin was like really easy to come together. He came together the most naturally, and everybody just really likes Rin a lot.
He's so beautiful.
I remember everyone's like, "No, I'm not questioning my sexuality over Ren," and everyone's like, "Yes,
it's
you
funny
are."
You mentioned that. My biggest like focus for Rin on him was like I just wanted him to look like such a bisexual disaster because of his inspiration supposedly being moved. So I knew like, okay, I have to make him look as gender confusing, not literally like super gender confusing, like maybe I'll push it for like later down the line, but I just wanted him to look like such a bisexual disaster and just be really attractive to all possible peoples. So that was what I aimed for, and I'm glad to hear I succeeded.
Red's a twin.
I mean, if you walk, I bet he walks past a bunch of people and it's just a bunch of double takes, just being like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's what, like, so.
They all look at him, they all go.
They're fanning themselves, like, oh my God.
They all turn, they look at him, they all go, this is bad.
That's how the different elements of his design came together, because I looked at Chinese armor for a lot of the stuff, and like I think I looked at a little bit of Japanese armor for the gloves, but the translucent robe, I was looking at Tang Dynasty women's fashion because I saw a lot of translucent clothing in that. I thought that would be really great for Rin, for him to wear this piece of clothing intended for women, but on him it'll look fabulous.
Some slight feminization there.
I think he turned out just excellent. I'm glad you could integrate the knife into his outfit. That was a big thing because it really annoyed me that they never introduced the knife visually until like the actual arc where it was like, guys, you couldn't have like given us a little more of a hint. And it's like it's not even like oh, it was integrated into his weapons. No, it was literally just separate from his weapons. It made
really
no sense.
Yeah, so I'm glad I also like found a good stick his knife just right there on his leg where you can see it and where he can grab it.
So sexy.
I love it.
Yeah, I love drawing those poses, especially that one pose where he's all going kung fu like, because it was just like draping the robe around him on the ground and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Thought
gonna
it
get
came out
dirty.
really
You should
smooth
probably
and
pick it
flowy.
up. You know, probably tighten that a little bit. Make sure it doesn't
Oh.
drag. Any interesting notes on the PNG butterfly?
He came out a little stiff, which is sad, and his facial expression looks a little weird.
Yeah.
Well, he is very stoic.
Which it's one of those things where I'm like, I noticed it, and at the same time I'm okay with it generally. It's just like I kind of, we used him as the thumbnail because, you know, it's his volume, so to speak. So I'm like, it came out great. It just could be a little stronger, but you're right about the stiff. I think that was really the place where I was like, he looks like
I'm not used to drawing men.
That's all right.
I actually have a question on Ren's design.
Oh,
It's actually the decision of the weapon. Like in your fixing version, you still? I thought. Hang on, what was I gonna say? Sorry about that. I thought you gotta keep the knife as like the blade instead of a separate thing. Is there any reason why?
Mostly reusing footage, if I'm being super honest. But at the same time, the idea that he would actually break apart his dad's knife and integrate it into his own weapons, like it made sense that he would integrate it. My issue with the main show is that they didn't establish it beforehand, so
Yeah.
I kind of addressed that by integrating it into his current design. It's one of those things that and also in a way it speaks to his character because it's sort of a safety. It's like a very sharp teddy bear in a way, where it's something that he only brought out after the fall of Beacon. He didn't have it out beforehand, but after the fall of Beacon, he suddenly had it on him at all times, where it was visible, where
It's his comfort knife.
it's his comfort knife, effectively.
yeah. It's good backup too in emergencies.
Yeah, so it's there for a sentimental reason, and it shows the fact that, you know, in his own very subtle way, he was affected by what happened at the fall. He's not very outward about it. It's similar in the way that Nora is, you know, still the Genki girl, cheerful girl, when she is obvious. She also has huge crippling issues over what happened at the fall. The only one that in the team that's actually reacting in a visible way to it is John, who is openly expressing doubts and worries as a result of all that stuff, whereas the other two are just they're kind of rolling with it in their own natural ways, but it's not a healthy way necessarily.
Okay.
Let's see, next up is who do we want to
Jean.
Jean. This is the big one for a lot of people. People point out this
Yeah, there
design.
were a lot of questions about Jean. Questions which we will get to later.
Yes. He has this was one that we really kind of bounced a lot of ideas back and forth because we're just trying to figure out what to do with him.
Kinda, yeah. His helmet design also used to be really different until Butterfly came up with that gorgeous Dark Souls kind of inspired helmet design. And so I obviously had to change it all to look more like that and be actually pretty and palatable. His previous helmet design was, in all fairness and honesty, really quite ugly.
I can't remember it now.
Sorry.
Now that I think back on it.
No, it's you. No. What are you apologizing for? I was the one who drew the ugly.
But I do know that my big contribution was I was insistent upon some kind of gambeson. I was very
Yeah, I think that was because like when I first started pitching like redesigns for Jean, I introduced the collapsible helm thing, and that was really popular. Well, but at first he was kind of too knightly. He had too much armor.
Yes.
And so I had to reel it back in, and that's when I started using the gambeson thing.
Yeah, because I was I watch a lot of Shadiversity.
Yeah, me too.
I love his channel. It's so great for information, and just the idea of like I really hate the Volume 4 design because it's compared to everyone else's designs, which I may or may not hate dependent on how extreme. His is the least extreme when it comes to
Yeah,
redesign.
I mean, Yeah, I feel like I was talking to my boyfriend about it once, and I think he said it best in regards to both John's OG design and his Volume 4 design, is that he dresses like he's wearing a Halloween costume instead of actual practical clothing for fighting monsters. And I think that's always been the biggest issue with Jean. He doesn't dress for the part that he's trying to play in any kind of meaning. He's just sort of slapdash together,
which works
and
for
you know,
volume 1 through 3. Which, you know, that's where that works, because he's a guy that
yeah,
he's trying to figure out how to be this thing, and he's just kind of like playing it best he can. Now he has a much better understanding of all that stuff, so his outfit kind of reflects he's grown. He's not quite there yet, but he's definitely grown.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of like where the stuff of like giving him heavier thing, Gamison all came from, was just to make him look more legit, like he's more the real deal.
My favorite element of this, though, I mean, I love the helm. The helm is really cool because I love collapsible armor and such like that. Even though I know it's technically structurally weaker or whatever, but whatever, you know, it's cool. I love the Pyrrha binding on his waist. The red
right,
sash,
yeah.
Which I think was just such a simple touch, but it really it kind of just gives you that feel.
I always kind of low key. I kind of like that he wore Pyrrha's sash in like his canonical design, but I didn't like the way it was placed, I guess. So mostly I wanted him to keep it, but I wanted it to be wrapped around him in a more practical way so that his silhouette remained super clear. I didn't really feel like he was necessarily up for looking all kind of capey yet.
I wouldn't say it was capey. It was more like a sash, kind of like something a chick would wear.
Like a scarf, but for his
It was
waist.
very flowy.
Yeah. And you know, there's like a time and place for that in like a person's design, but I didn't really feel like it was quite for Jean. So that's like mainly where I decided to just tighten it up around him.
Yeah. And then we get to the PNG from Butterfly. Any interesting anecdotes about this one?
Not really. I only struggled with the arm that has the armor on it. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, because like this was because obviously this is back when the reference sheets were kind of vague and I didn't really explain or label everything very well, but I had to explain that he actually had a piece of elbow armor on. It wasn't just like an elbow piece with a sash around it. It was actually a whole metal chunk wrapped around his elbow. And I was like,
yeah, I didn't know how to draw that, and I was like,
yeah,
I mean,
you drew it well. I think it works the way it does. It was just like the color, the off part, where I had to explain. No, the whole thing is metal. It's actually like a metal arm, like you would get off a suit of armor.
The whole thing's metal. And I believe that should take us to our last character.
Yes, the first reference sheet.
RWBY.
Our main character.
I have a question. Why the bib?
It's
a collar.
It's not a bib, thank you. It's a collar, and it just dips down a little bit, like a neckline.
It doesn't go over. It goes under. Are the white frills on the black outfit? Is that where it is? The white frills are on the black outfit, or is it they are all just one piece?
Wait, the white frills is on the black?
The white frills, they kind of like separate the white section and the black section.
There is nothing I do not love about this design, especially how you made it a point to illustrate her throwing off the cape as a way of showing, okay, now I'm getting serious. That's cool.
I think RWBY was like one of the ones that kind of changed the most from like some initial pitches that I did of her, because she was like the first run where I was like trying to incorporate a lot of the suggested ideas, and the detachable cape thing was one of them from like really early on. And so it was like also kind of bring in a little bit of Asiatic influence with the way her skirt wraps around her hips to the right. Oh yeah, that was also why I did the sash for Jean, because it's kind of like an Asian belt thing. That's right, now I remember. But yeah, so it was like a lot of like trying to mesh a lot of different ideas together with the detachable cape, the detached sleeves, the collar thing, which I saw in one pitch suggestion that I liked a lot. The way the skirt wraps, yada yada. It was a lot of
the one thing
of elements
that I really was insistent upon, because I really liked seeing it. I think, was it Kitty's design that we used? Someone had designed a double layered cape where like they had
yeah. It was
like...
Kitty. It was Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Kitty. That was where the whole mantle thing with the detachable bit came from.
Yeah,
that was her.
I fell in love with that. Absolutely head over heels for it. So like I was very much.
It was pretty cool.
Let's kind of take that as a design element we want to incorporate. The double layered skirt I've fallen in love with too. I love like the 2 layers of skirt frill. That's just I'm a big guy. I love frills. I love girls and frills are adorable. So I'm like more frills the better.
Yeah. Well, it's all part of the Lolita aesthetic to have lots of frilly stuff going.
I like it's got the bullets on it.
Oh yeah. I think
it's
that was
different from the corset trap that I feel like RWBY has fallen into.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Always corset, always. And
but
it just feels so natural here. It's like, oh yeah, this just makes sense.
Yeah, I think I remember talking about it a lot about how I didn't really like her wearing bigger and more complicated corsets as she went. Like, it wasn't such a big deal in her OG. It wasn't such a big deal in her OG design when she was going to school and stuff. But I felt like that she should lose the corset in her next iteration and just wear a belt for like a little bit freer, easier movement.
Yeah, I think it wound up being really cool with that. Just because, like, I mean, also having ammunition on the body and like being able to incorporate that in the fight scenes and the like, that's always like a plus for me because it always gives a character kind of something to do when they're not actually doing anything.
It's the utility of it.
Feels like it's a frill fetish. I mean, if you want to word it that way, I guess.
Real quick, I just want to answer Intra's question. We haven't worked on Penny at all yet. We haven't done anything with her, so I can't answer that. There's no references to Penny's outfit in this version. We haven't touched it yet. That's a long way off if and when we eventually get to it.
And if we redesign Pura, something has radically shifted because she's still not back in the show. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we haven't touched Pura either. That's not a thing.
Yeah, at this rate, RWBY's track record on dead characters isn't the greatest. They said that Penny was dead. Remember that, guys? Remember how they?
But Penny's also a robot.
No. People asked about that. They said that Penny was dead. I remember that was like almost the exact verbiage.
And then they went back on it.
They went back on it, and I'm just like, you know what? Now I can't trust you guys. Now I don't know what's dead. Because you guys said that Penny was dead. And I'm like, okay, that's stupid. Why would you say that? Because she's a robot. And they're like, oh yeah, no, she's a robot. We can bring her back. Like, why did you say she was dead?
I hate it when writers cannot commit to their creative decisions, even if it hurts. Like, you have to commit.
That's why, like, even before I knew Penny was coming back, like in Volume 3, or even... I was planning already.
I mean, if they just didn't comment on it at all, if they just didn't answer the question and didn't say anything, they would at least have deniability.
Yeah, well, that's why I built into the story just a mechanism of, like, she might return, but I tried to give it a foreboding edge, because the way I bring her back might not be the way people are expecting. I'm actually kind of excited about that.
Tank Penny. She comes back as a tank.
But RWBY was the first one I worked with, and I think she came together pretty well for incorporating a lot of the ideas. She had the most design pitches. I think that's probably part of it, was that RWBY was the one that most people were interested in working on, obviously because she's the main character. So that's probably part of why there was a lot to work with and try to mesh into a cohesive whole.
Yeah.
You talked about ponytail and how that went over well. Did you try like a lot of hairstyles and stuff on her?
Well, actually, no, because it was like, I actually made like the very first post when it was like talked about doing redesigns for the characters, and my very first redesign pitch for RWBY, I put her in a silver outfit because I thought, like, I want to bring out her eyes. I think that would be fun. And I put her in a silver dress, and I put up her hair in a little pony wolf tail thing Puffball because I thought, well, you know what? She's doing stuff. She's running around. She's being sporty. She should put her hair up. It's so convenient to put your hair up out of the way. You know, that's just my stance on hair. It needs to be out of my face forever. So that's just where the idea of Ruby putting her hair up, and it just stuck really well because like Celtic said it was super duper cute, and everyone else liked it all. So I was just, yeah, I'll just keep doing that for Ruby. I'll just keep giving her a little ponytail because it's fun.
Yeah, and although Intertech clarified, he meant to clarify that Ruby incorporating elements of Penny and Pyrrha in her design.
You know, I didn't think of that.
Unintentionally, I think. It was not intentional, but I think we did it to some degree.
Yeah, we might have.
I think we did.
I probably didn't think of it intentionally. There was like,
Penny have,
I
like,
think I know there were
the bib, quote unquote.
Sleeves, they kind of look like hers.
There were like design pitches where people were really concerned about what Ruby's state would be and how that would reflect in her dress. But yeah.
Yeah, Penny kind of had like the tall collar.
Yeah, it's definitely the same root of that like Lolita fashion of like colored lace, all that.
Yeah. True. Plus Ruby just has the red thing, so.
And finally, any specific anecdotes about the PNG itself, Butterfly?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's there and it's done. The wolf's tail might be a little too long.
It's still cute though. You can still kind of tell because little short hairstyles pulled up into the ponytail can be kind of gauge their real length on, like depending on how the hair is gathered. So, and I didn't really feel like correcting you on it because I felt like, yeah, it's close enough. I thought it was really cute because like it's so flowy.
Yeah.
She's like kind of got this whole dreamlike look about her, which I thought was nice because it was okay, Ruby, she's been through some shit, but she's still kind of got a little bit of pep in her step. And I thought that was kind of nice in your PNP.
Also, to answer, is it Sion Barsti? My monitor doesn't have a good resolution, so I can't read. Is it Clon Barsti or Sion Barsti? Wait, Penny comes back for real? Yeah, Penny's back. She's been back since Volume 7.
Yeah.
And no, they don't explain it.
Sorry to spoil it for you.
Yeah, it just happens, and it's like, yeah, she has all her memories. It's all good.
I mean,
He's there, and Ruby doesn't even break down in tears over it, and they don't. And Penny is exactly the way she was before, without any trauma.
Did Ruby?
Her welcoming back was so awkward.
And long flowing hair.
It was.
Did Ruby steal the boob window idea from Pyrrha? No. And Kitty, why aren't you
Throwback
here?
to that time.
Kitty,
we discovered through wikiing and googling that no one in this show counts under personhood, especially Penny.
Kitty, why didn't you tell me you were in here? I just realized it. We have to go over your art.
Yeah, Kitty, what the hell? You're right there, even.
Let me pull up Kitty's art. All right, where is it? Let's see. Kitty. I thought you weren't here for it, right? There we go. All right. Well, now we can actually move on from all those crazy little things and have Kitty comment on her pieces. Kitty, do you have your pieces on you at the moment? Kitty, are you there? Are you okay? Oh, okay. Here's one. Let's see if we can get Kitty. No, we cannot hear you.
Are you talking, Kitty? I can't hear you.
Yeah, we cannot hear you. Also, did you only have one image, Kitty? I can't remember.
Oh.
Okay, so we can't hear you for some reason. Well, that's no good.
Well.
Huh.
Kitty's dead in the chat. Pog.
This is unpog.
This is the opposite of pog.
Working.
Oh, there we go.
It's gop.
It made me. It's so dumb.
Oh, there you are.
It said my microphone was connected, and then I went in and it was still connected. I just clicked on it again, and now it's working.
Oh, well, thank goodness.
Discord's being stupid.
Okay. Well, we have your piece, which was an interesting little one, because you got the first hints of the Brunswick farm. Any interesting anecdotes, comments about this piece in particular?
From the fact that I made this on my phone and it kept dying on me.
You made this on your phone?
Oh yeah, Kitty draws everything on her phone.
Oh, I completely...
I thought you drew on a tablet. This hurts.
No, Kitty's insane.
What?
She draws everything on her
It's
phone.
such a tiny screen.
What?
It's a big phone.
That's really fucking impressive.
Still on
That's some
phone, though.
crazy shit. No way.
Yeah, she's pretty lit.
Not expect such a huge reaction.
In other news, Kitty sold their soul.
I'm also just like, not very good at like, backgrounds. It's like, hey, draw this. I'm like, you know what? Why not?
What art program do you use, by the way? Are you like?
I for this one in particular, I used Ibis Paint X. It's a mobile app. It has textures, has a bunch of like tools, and it like even records your like drawing process, so you can get like a speed paint out of it.
Oh, sorry, that's my air conditioning.
That's why I like using it.
Damn, that's
Then it can still make
that's
speed paint.
crazy.
Just squint your eyes out a little. No. Just zoom in. I also draw like with my finger in case people are wondering. Like some people like you can use like a like a pen for your phone. Like my phone has one of those, but I hate using it, so I just use my finger.
So basically what you're
It's,
telling me is like the artist equivalent of having your arms lopped off as a sword fighter.
Yeah, basically.
You've been sword fighting with your
She's
toes.
a witch.
Like, I
It's
don't really...
digital
I don't-
finger painting.
I don't talk about it too often because I don't want to scare her, but you're like, you really impress me being able to draw what you draw on your phone.
Sold
Like,
your
that is
soul.
a crazy skill.
It's
I like it because then I can draw while in bed. I can draw while like I used to have to take a bus because somebody crashed into my car. Like I can just draw on the bus. I can just draw whenever. It's pretty convenient.
God, if only I could write. Like I can't focus to write when I'm traveling. I did that once with a commission and it wound up like it's still one of my better commissions, but I was not happy with it. I had to do so much revision when I got home.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that while on the move either, because it's just like too many other distractions, and also I use a tablet. So.
It's definitely better than like drawing in public with like a sketchbook, because for some weird reason people just don't leave you alone.
Oh, I
you
actually
know-
do. My trick with that is that I use my day planner if I want to draw in public, because then people see the day planner and they think you're just taking some kind of note, and they don't realize you're just drawing literally everybody you see.
See, that's smart, because you know how like people like fantasize about like going out in public and drawing and just chilling in a park and right? Every time I've ever drawn in public, it's like people approach you or people
Yeah,
doing
the
their
sketchbook.
shit at the at the park, and so parking
Like,
dogs
unless-
whatever, and then people are like, "What are you drawing?" And I'm like, "Bruh, I don't know you. Go away."
It's like, please don't talk to me. I was drawing you.
Oh, you're an
Seconds ago, and you're ruining my model.
an artist. He would like to meet you. You learn that he's not an artist. He's in graphic design, which is different.
I mean, it takes a little bit of art know-how to be in graphic design.
Not some of the graphic designers I've imagined. I worked.
me?
Sorry, I worked. I was a janitor at an office at a graphic design firm, and some of the guys in there were ooh.
yeah. I had an ex who was a graphics designer, and
I'm 50%.
try to be encouraging, you know? You try to be encouraging.
you try to,
Yeah,
when you're an artist and you know other people are trying to do the art thing, you try to not punch down.
For all
It's
the
attitude.
people that didn't get into the Sketchy Huntsman because you weren't quite there with your art yet, don't despair. Trust me, people of even less talent are getting paid for what you can do. You could do like 3 times better than they did.
And we're a volunteer service.
I always like to remind myself that Rob Liefeld got paid for years to draw comics.
You did. You really did.
Oh yeah.
Can't draw for shit.
Well, now I know I only really have 20 minutes left because people are going to bed, and I have like midnight's kind of my hard cap. So I kind of want to hit the questions. So if we could hit some of the big questions, I would love to.
Oh yeah, that's right. All the questions shit. We only have like 30 minutes or so left.
Speed round.
Okay, so do you want to read the questions or?
Well, let's see. I'm on like the ones that you sent me, the RWBY artist community stream.
Yeah, I have them in front of me too.
There's Ryan Carson, who is like, honestly, with all the outfit changes you did, I really hoped that you would revamp Adam's new design. And he didn't really comment. We addressed that by actually having a change.
Yeah, that was an early comment that was like, I just thought, because I collected all the comments that just had anything to do with art. I didn't really discriminate too much, but yeah, that was just an early comment that I thought was kind of funny in retrospect, because little did they know there was a redesign on the way.
Someone talking about confusion over John's new color design.
Okay, yeah, there were a lot of comments like that where people were like, why did you make Jean blue? And stuff like that. And basically my thing was like, every other character in RWBY kind of has like a strong central color that you can kind of pick out, except for Jean. Jean has always struck me as the most like confused palette out of all of them. So I just really wanted to give him a focus and ground him from like everyone else, so that he can have a thing that like unifies his whole palette. And I chose blue because it matches his eyes really nice, and it was different from everyone else that had been on his team, like the red and the pink and the green.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got blue for Jean, to like give him a cohesive palette and make him stand out and look more like a proper main character.
Elysian Empire says that Blake's outfit reminds me of a Pokemon trainer sprite, which I think is kind of cute.
Yeah.
Thoughts so far? I like the outfits. I have some problems with them, like John's hoodie being ditched. I mean, the hoodie was replaced by the helmet. I thought that was actually a pretty strict
I think
upgrade.
the helmet is a huge upgrade.
Like the hoodie because it showed how, despite the ending of V3, John still had emotional attachment to something arguably goofy, and hasn't completely changed, just like how the show... Like, yeah, but that's what the show wrote for him to be, as opposed to, like, it actually mattering in the long run, because I think he's ditched the hoodie now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's ditched the hoodie now. I honestly, I low-key think they only kept the hoodie at the time because of, like, the gag.
Yeah, I think it was a gag.
Him
I think
taking the armor off and it's a fucking bunny.
I think it was all about the joke.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't really think they thought about it any deeper than that.
Blue's probably... We need more characters with a blue theme. So this guy's actually agreeing with the blue. Let's grab... So RWBY's white accents are okay, but I think the leggings need a darker color. I need to be a dark
That was
color.
a palette suggestion, but I didn't really want to do that because I thought it created more contrast for her leggings to be white.
Weiss and Blake are fine for what they are. Just hope they change in the more combat style outfits at the end. I mean, I think Weiss is good. I mean, and also, I think this is also before I think Blake's design showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
So I think it needs to button the jacket. It being loose looks weird to me.
Eh.
Ryan and Nora are the best
Personal
out of all
taste.
of them. Okay. It's Brooke Wolf. Actually, I'm gonna put up a different image. Cycle through to. We'll just put RWBY back up, I think. The RWBY. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Like a lot of new characters, I wasn't sure about the extra flaps or RWBY's shoulder cape. Extra weight comforts and something. Okay, so some of these are just comments. We're trying to find the questions themselves, or like critiques. For one, I really like the music. RWBY and John, I found a bit odd, but I just get used to them. That's not really much we can work with. Love the designs. Sneak peek of Brunswick Farm. Nora. Does Nora look like Sakura Igawa?
I think it's just the pink.
Who's Sakura Igawa?
I think that's like the girl from Naruto.
Sakura...
She's got like pink and white shit.
I didn't think her last name was Igawa.
I don't think her last name is Igawa either.
Yeah,
I think that's another Sakura.
Oh, it's a girl from Maho Kaiju series?
Maho Kaiju?
She's a cutie, though. She apparently does not wear a bra.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, I'll just...
I don't see it. I don't see it.
It's the hair, I think.
I think it's just the hair, but Nora's hair isn't even styled like that
anymore. She looked more like it in her canon design.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. The only characters that would need a redesign would be those that are in either vastly warmer or colder climate, even when it should be modification of their old original outfits, or gradual changes over time to reflect character growth. Perfect example would be Z-Raid's winter clothing redesigns for Team RWBY. Only Weiss and Blake need new outfits, and even then, it could be argued that only Blake needed one, since Weiss is shown with the same outfit in the trailers at a formal event, although it's been argued that the white trailer is partially symbolic, and that the two events didn't actually take place as they were shown. Helmet, scarf.
I think this person was just against the concept of like the characters having redesigns at all.
Abe is one of the harshest critics on the Fixing RWBY series, and I very much appreciate because the man has some great observations, absolutely wonderful ones. At the same time, he also has ones that are just like very, I think, opinion
off base.
But not off base. I think he's very like, oh, the original designs were fine, and they don't need to be changed. You don't need to change them. And if you don't need to change them, don't. And I'm like, I think there's a core reason why we're changing it, because we're trying to kind of distinguish this. We're trying to not only distinguish Fixing RWBY, but also just sort of like there are issues with the way they redesign. I think you point out that RWBY got caught in a corset trap, and I think that's really, really annoying. I like her kind of like weaseling. She can always go back to corsets. We can always go back and re-explore that. But like,
yeah, it's rad. It's just like you can't really bend very well when your entire torso is a corset.
Especially if your whole semblance is technically running and speed, which was also like where the leggings, compression leggings, really.
Actually, her semblance has changed.
Her semblance has changed, yes, but we don't have to acknowledge that change.
We don't need to bring this up.
Just keep saying it's speed, because speed is better and makes more sense.
Guess what? We got more questions.
Because speed is a drug, and we are all on it right now.
Oh my god.
Going next to the next one, you ditched Nora's bomber jacket. This is a sin. Well, I'm sorry, but I actually like the Asian design a little bit more than the bomber jacket. I'm not a big fan of poofy sleeves. I like frills, not poofs.
Her design is a little too casual. I was like, that's a little less huntressy.
It looks so 50s diner was my problem with canonical design, and I just thought, like, why does she dress like from the 50s though?
I liked it. I thought it was cute.
I mean, it's cute. It's definitely cute, and like there's a place for it. But I just thought, like, why though? Why though? Why? That was just like my deal with it.
Let's see. The fight outfit for Weiss looks bad and makes it feel like she needs to change just to fight. And her fighting style do not need a skirt outfit to make it work. She live in a country that is cold all the time. There's something to keep in mind that her father would have combat outfit disposed of and her weapon locked up at a research and development facility. Story plot have more control, but it's her sword. It's hers.
It's her sword. Also, like, she's always fought in a skirt, and she's always been good with the.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, our redesign for her combat outfit isn't too far off from the original design for Volume.
It's really not.
It's not. It's almost the same.
Yeah.
The bigger difference was the formal uniform, which I think was actually, a lot better because it wasn't just a long version of her combat uniform, which looks stupid. Blake looked. We also
technically covered up her skin a little bit more by adding the stockings in her redesign, because her legs were bare canonically.
Yeah.
Let's see. Your outfit look for John need to color work on some changes. This person does not speak English. Like the blade can have a gold hilt.
Color good.
Yeah. Now the shield is just. We've already gone over a lot of the color stuff with John.
Yeah. It's like.
There's one thing that's been bugging me about this is great. and that he has no range weapon. Yeah, John has no range weapon. That's
He's not a range
John
fighter.
feels like a character who's still trying to find himself.
Yeah.
He has Pyrrha's broken weapons. He can have a short-tripped Winchester rifle as part of his gear to have more memories of Pyrrha combat style. Maybe he'll get a rifle. Maybe I'll give him a rifle in the future, but he's not getting one now. Weapon additions are different than redesign. I do plan on adding weapon increases and weapon changes over the series. But they're going to be a lot more gradual. They're going to be a lot more gradual than what we got in Volume 7, where just suddenly everyone got dumped with upgrades. To be honest, I'm not a fan of Blake's part in this so far.
I think Quincy's comment is more talking about like the story. Trying to see, they like the design. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, they like the design. Something like that. Talking about like future.
Yeah, it's story based. It looks like.
Yeah, it's more story based.
Design team of Ranger. John's a little off since we have another character with blue in their design, but other than that, that's great. I mean.
CL's fucked off for now though, so who cares about her?
I think he's talking about Weiss, who has a lot of blue in her
Weiss.
design, but like
Weiss is white though.
She has white, but she also like fades into blue.
She has a lot of cool tones,
Yeah, but I wouldn't call it like distractingly her main color though.
It's very.
Yeah, but if you're just like a dude looking at an image, you're like, oh, she's blue and white, you know.
It's distinct between like she has ice blue, whereas John has navy blue.
Yeah, and he's got like black and stuff going on as well.
John has a lot of colors. John is very colorful.
He does.
Third, I am a big fan of all the character redesigns,
Well,
save for John, who I feel looks a tad odd with all the blue. Yeah, okay.
Blue stuff again. Person saying they're gonna warm up to the outfits. They like Yang. Blue Bow. There's a hat thing. Yeah.
This was the confusion between whether or not in the one PNG scene where she was wearing.
Yeah.
Was she wearing a
Rogue
bow
Network
or a hat?
didn't like Ren's alternate outfit. Sorry you didn't like it. Master Decoy, feedback, blah, 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 blah. Black Hole, that was just talking about the arts. Gambison, Shad, yes, thank you, Finver. Lord Sinister, they like that the girls' outfits are more practical and modest. Blah, 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 blah. Likes, got rid of Blake's long, tall-ass boots, capitalized white. They like the Asian influences on Nora. Okay, they understand why I made John blue, and they like how I made how he was made Page and Squire-ish. Business Farms likes the new designs.
All right, this guy nailed it. And then you have Purple Turtleneck, who went through all of them. Ruby, a meh for me, definitely adequate, but it's nice that he leagues above the original. In fact, I actually prefer the original. This man is wrong. Aside from the lack of boob window, which I completely agree with, it doesn't match her character. The attention to detail in regard to ammo, I don't find myself caring much for this outfit. It'll grow.
Sorry you feel that way.
John, color scheme switch from white and yellow to blue and silver is interesting. His first rendition is serviceable. His second is incredible. What do you mean his first rendition is serviceable? And his second
I don't. Maybe they're talking about like their cannon design. Ren's, aside from attention to ammo holder, doesn't care for it. Sorry you feel that. I guess you like the part where it's breathable. It's just like they just prefer the original. Yes. Yeah, towards Nora.
Loves Nora.
Likes both versions, but in regards to Weiss, there's like combat ready, breathability, efficiency, right design, lovely princess, gloves and thing, the sash. Thank you. Blake, just like Nora, very hyped.
Yang was kind of just, it's very good, so. Because of Schnee Manor, praise whoever created her new design. Yeah, her colors did match very well with Schnee Manor, although I think that was also kind of a carryover from the show itself.
Yeah, the show itself just had Schnee Manor just white in. So. Yeah. Person talking about Adam's design not being changed, asking if it's gonna be changed later. Yes. Donatella praising that Blake is actually wearing proper clothes for an island and is wearing black. Very happy about that. Thank you. Ian Byrne is in defense of Nate Yang's neck brace thingy. It's okay.
Yeah, where basically he was just explaining that it's a leather neck. That's what it is. It guards from someone trying to cut your head off with a sword. But like,
yeah, but we decided to just cut in cheek and just wear a regular helmet. Toscos is happy with the art. Black Cherry likes the art. There's Jesse was talking about the leash faunas. Greasy Smith like character designs. One of many more is something about was asking about Adam's hair. Bree says she's sorry. The hair is just wonky. You'll just have to live with that. Crystal Waits created designs. It was me and Butterfly. Butterfly and I. Thank you.
Because I don't understand how people miss this, because I put you guys at the very beginning where I'm like, yeah, the designs were created by Moopa and Butterfly.
I mean, some people just don't pay attention to credits.
People don't read. Yeah.
Scott E is complimenting or commenting on particular illustrations. I think some of them is just like weirded out by some of the perspective, but they still like a lot of the art. It seems like Andrew Song's talking about like Adam again with his code, asking why it wasn't updated. The Makito complimenting Lady Anime Net's art with the crow thumbs up. Ryan Carson complimenting Mint's art with the whole Trifa thing, Spider-Man, whatever.
Yeah,
Axel...
someone pointed out that Trifa in Mint's art had Spider-Man colors.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was unintentional.
Axel complimenting V-Chan's art. Rick's art's just saying like whatever about like Blake checking Sun out. Blank Space saying those Neo POVs were awesome. You are correct, Blank Space. Demetrius Prime praising Lady Anime Net's art because of the crow thing, probably. Yeah. Ryan Carson for the part 5 complimenting Adam's slick looking design. Thank you. You're welcome. We are really happy with how it came forward, and we're also really happy that you decided to completely pledge yourself to this project of Raymond's and are actually excited to see Adam going forward. So that's really great. Andrew Song in reply to Ryan Carson, I cannot agree more. I adore his design. This is what he should have been at his most best. IV Table also thinks Adam looks badass and not like a scrub. Thank you. Daft Al Barcero. It's cool to see designs goes one step further with the Virgil from Devil May Cry reference. I don't know if it was intentional, but damn, I sure like it. It was intentional on Butterfly's end, so you have that. Silver Horizon, surprised we didn't change the Nuck. Well, we just don't really want to bother with it. We felt like the Nuck's design was essentially fine, you know?
Yeah,
we were more focused on just redesigning the characters.
People don't understand. Wibbly wobbly arms are actually really intimidating because that's not how things are supposed to move. And if you see a big wiggly wobbly thing, it's typically something like a snake, and your alarm bells start going off in the back of your head, and you're like, "Oh, that's not how things are supposed to move. I'm in danger."
Yeah, they were supposed to.
No.
Let's see. Andrew Song is also like complimenting on like how Adam's outfit is red, and a lot of it's like it's a novel thing. Nicolay, I'm not about to read that fucking last name. It says, I really like the look you've given Adam. Now he looks motivated to antagonist material for the upcoming volume rather than some edgy construction worker. Thank you. We agree. Abel, I think, is also complimenting the redesign 10 out of 10 design. Good Neutral Evil Chaos is he's complimenting Vandal Legion's art. Demon Knox says, great work for Sketchy Huntsmen. Gracious Lee. John Outfit. Blah, 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 blah. They're just talking about why it was changed.
Yeah, people really didn't understand John's outfit.
Yeah. By Ziegler, sword mode for Crescent Rose. We haven't really considered that. Talk about changing Crescent Rose in that way so far. Don't know about the future, but that's the current stance. Crescent Rose is staying the way it is. Aussie Puppet, character designs fit so good. Like Xiang, I think. Aussie Puppet again for 2 comments for some reason. For knows about Weiss. They appreciate the fact that Weiss is still flat-chested because, of course, she is. She always was, and she always will be. And flat is justice. That takes care of all the comments and questions, except for the ones that I recorded from our fellow Sketchy Huntsmen members who couldn't be here today, where the Mint asked, what was the process of picking the bits of the other designs to create the final design? Basically, we just combed through the entire channel and looked over each submission, and we talked about each one, which parts of the designs we liked and which parts we didn't like. And I wrote down a bunch of notes about what we thought worked, what we thought didn't, what we should aim for the final. So that was basically our process, where we just looked at them all, talked about them each one by one, and wrote down notes about what we should do with them, or what elements we wanted to keep, which ones we should discard, this, that, and the other. Steno Base also asked, what was the main influence / inspiration behind Roman and Adam's new outfits? I talked about Adam, where I basically looked at a bunch of goth trench coats. Roman, I actually kind of took a lot of inspiration from some old RWBY fan art that Butterfly did, where she drew Ruby and Roman as like Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, and I took a lot of kind of wolf-themed inspiration for Roman. So yeah, that was kind of like sort of the main inspiration for Roma, was just like a lot of wolf themed stuff actually, because a lot of his concept designs kind of had him a little bit more wild looking with sort of more raggedy edgy clothing. So it's kind of a surprising that he kind of like ended up looking more normal, but that had to do with the first design pass that Butterfly did, where it was essentially the concept of how he would dress immediately after his accident, where it was just plain black shirt, black pants, blah blah blah, and that ended up being the most popular outfit once we combined it with some other element. And Bree's question was, if you could pick one thing to change about one of the redesigns in Volume 4, what would it be and why? For me, I kind of felt like I didn't necessarily incorporate red all that well into Weiss's outfit. Like, there's red on the underside of her waistcoat thing, but you can't necessarily see it all that well. Butterfly did a good job of like turning the corner of her waistcoat so that you can see the red underside. And I just kind of wish that I had thought of that as a more permanent feature of her design to just make it more obvious that the color is there. So that's one thing I would do. Butterfly, what about you?
I'd probably change John to be more Dark Souls-like.
More what now?
Dark Souls-like.
Oh, yeah, that would probably be a good idea. That would, maybe when he's like going up in Atlas, where it's like
new headcanon, John Fat rolls.
Then we can like make him more Dark Souls.
Got more gear on the way up.
That's a pretty good idea. But yeah, that's all of the questions I had written down and saved for us to go through. And look at that, we're just under time limit.
That is, well, thank you for joining the Moopa stream. Kind of.
They were through it. They were like priority.
Ran through it.
Yeah, you did a great job. That was running through all those questions. That was great.
Amazing as always.
But yeah,
I mean, I'm good at hustling, if nothing else.
But yeah, so we are running up on time. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. I'm super excited to bring this new team into the future of Fixing RWBY, and I can't wait to get new team members and everything for that as well. Remember what I said, that all streams except for the Fixing RWBY streams are going to be up on a new channel. I will have a video announcing that sometime this week probably, where I will be like, hey guys, go check out this channel, please subscribe over there, and all that fun stuff. If you want to check out all the streams that are going to be nice and categorized and all that such, it'll help me clean up my channel immensely. And I think that about rounds it out. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll catch you all on the flip side.